Actually, yeah, it's fucking garage band. That's the way it goes.
Nice.
What is this? 43?
44, right?
44. Oh yeah, you're right.
I saw that because
Thanks.
444 is my lucky number.
Oh shit! All right.
Cool. Hey, welcome to Red River Podcast number 44. Hanging out back in Parker's basement. He's looking slim as fuck. He's puffing out his chest a little bit.
Just because it's a fucking radio show, bro. We can't be pretty, you know.
It's that drummer physique, you know. You can't be fat and a drummer, even though a lot of them are, right?
I just saw Knocked Loose like last week, and I was like, that's a fucking big boy. And they played like Missouri or something, and I was on that Instagram, and there was like 1,000 people there, and there was a picture of him shirtless, and I was like, yeah, he's definitely a fucking big boy, fucking like big nipples and everything. So, my God.
Can't wait for that guy to randomly get mentioned and listen and be like, who are these fucking weirdos? Guy just said I had big nipples. Sky came what?
Yeah,
never heard of that
pretty much.
So today we have a guest. I haven't seen him in a while. And he's been in a bunch of other shit, you know, a bunch of bands. In the last few years, I'm going to say maybe enigmatic, you know, like definitely like, you know, doing the family thing, doing the work thing, and but your band's got a reunion show in July, so welcome, John Cox.
Thank you, guys. Definitely appreciate being here.
Yeah, man, talk into that motherfucker.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, shift
How's
that
this?
in
There we go.
Okay, is your volume okay on the headphones?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Really honored to be here. Definitely.
Cool. Yeah. You know, he hit me up. I was like, yeah, no problem. We'll do If I Ruled the World. He's like, nah, fuck that show. We'll do right. I want to talk about sci-fi movies.
Sweet.
Yeah, I want to go outside the box a little bit. I am a big fan of If I Ruled the World. I love the guests you guys have on, but you know, I like this because you guys definitely paint outside the lines a little bit.
I think we just like what we like, and I don't know, it's just fun. Like, we could have an episode on fucking Slayer for no reason.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, well, Ron was amazing.
Yeah, Ron is fucking great. That's another dude I haven't seen in going on 10 years.
That's the Oracle of Metal.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. Guy's been everywhere.
The Oracle.
Yeah. The Oracle of... Actually, I stole that from Dave Castillo, but he is the Oracle of Metal. So, before we start with John and catch up with him, I really want to talk about, like, whatever we've been kind of digging. Like, you know, whether it be like a movie, book, TV show, because there's a lot of stuff, man. And I know the last episode we talked about The Dirt. We all love The Dirt. But anything that you've been into lately that you want to shout out, Langan?
I just read Tommy Lee's book. And
bring it down.
I hate myself. Like, it was the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life.
Why?
I read you know, I'm a big reader of rock biographies. If you listen, you know that. But and just The Dirt comes out. So I've read Vince Neil's book. That was terrible. But Tommy Lee, the first chapter is him having a conversation with his dick.
No.
And like his dick has like lines. Yeah, it's like Tommy sentence, his dick responds, and they're talking. And then throughout the book, his dick makes appearances. To like chime, if he's talking about Pamela Anderson or any of his exploits, his dick like gets words, gets to say stuff. Yeah. And then
is that cool? I think I don't know.
It's terrible. It was.
Is it?
Yeah,
Does it work?
It's bad. It was really bad. It might be the worst rock biography
But you want to know what?
Read in my
you
life.
want to know how awesome Fame is? How awesome Fame is that a guy like that who played drums in a band that was okay,
right?
You know, maybe arguably their last good record was in like 1983. Mm-hmm. But
pound for pound, they didn't make a lot of good stuff, honestly.
Yeah, when you really like throw it up on the dartboard and you're like, you know,
you're talking batting average. It's not. They're getting cut.
Yeah, they're about like 220.
But they hit home runs.
They did, but like this guy is able to write a book that people will fucking like talk about and read, and his dick is one of the characters in the book. That's how good Fame is.
He's very focused on, because it's not recent, the book. It's a few years back. So it's when the paparazzi was all over him and he's dating this one and that one or whatever. So he just thinks that's what people want to hear. I'm the dork that wants to know about the recording technique and songwriting process. Yeah. So it wasn't the book for me. You know what I mean? But I will read, Nikki Sixx's too, just to complete the the whole cipher. Mick Mars never wrote one,
No.
and he's probably the only one that would be really interesting to read.
Yeah, 100%. He's definitely the force in that band that I gravitate towards, even when I was a little kid. Like
Yeah.
With the guitar.
Mick Mars, yeah, he's underrated. I think he's a really good guitar player, but
You get the feeling like they would have just went completely off the rails probably if there wasn't one dude in there that knew how to pump the brakes every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wonder how true. I mean, I guess everyone said that's how Mick is, and in the movie, it's like he's like, I don't know. It's funny because everyone says he doesn't talk. He's like, I've heard him say like 3 words, but they're awesome.
Yeah,
you know,
he picks them carefully.
Yeah, it's strange. Like I had no idea Mick Mars and his like fucking weird beret and guy liner was like so cool. I saw that meme on that group that we follow, everything glam metal or whatever it's called.
Yeah, about his back hurt.
Yeah, he's like, when your back hurts from carrying your band.
That's great.
That was fantastic.
So good.
But yeah, I'm glad I read it. But
cool.
Yeah, other than that, I've been listening to. I've mentioned before Gilbert Gottfried's. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah. No judgment here,
his
man.
podcast. If you're a fan of old Howard Stern, which I know you are,
of course.
I just listened to one with like Billy West.
Oh
and he
my
gets
God.
Artie Lang on, and it's like totally hilarious. Because I love. A lot of people think he's just an annoying voice comic, but he's really like a ballsy comic.
Yeah.
That
Super
dude
ballsy.
says
Fucking sharp as a
anything
tack too, man.
and has zero remorse about it. He does not care about any like that kind of comedic voice gets lost sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying that show. So I wanted to shout it out. And
Yeah.
it's worth a listen.
I'll check it out tomorrow then for sure.
Yep.
John, anything lately that you've been fucking digging on?
Movies, TV, podcasts, anything
Whatever.
like that. I'm really into the Orville, so I love that.
What's that show about?
It's basically Seth MacFarlane decided to do Star Trek: The Next
Star
Generation.
Trek, yeah.
And it's not like I'm not a fan of that new. I'm a Trekkie, and I'm not a fan of that new Star Trek series that's on CBS. But what Seth MacFarlane did was he basically just made a series for people who love Family Guy but also love Star Trek, and it's so good that he's got people from Star Trek: The Next Generation directing episodes, starring in episodes. I think the storylines are great. You know, what it lacks in special effects and stuff like that, it makes up for like in, you know.
He's a great writer.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did I want to see Captain Picard call a Klingon a fucking dick? And not a fucking dick, but this guy's a dick.
What channel?
It's on Channel 5. It's on Fox.
Ah.
So, yeah, I'm digging on that. Voltron just had its last season
Fuck, you
on...
just got my attention.
Nice. Did you watch the last season?
No,
on
but
Netflix?
I'm about to start right after the show, I think.
Have you seen any
No.
of them? The reboot's unbelievable.
Oh, man.
Is it?
It is like a stoner rock classic. Like there are episodes where just the scenery and like the background ambient music, just it's nuts. It'll give you chills, and the storyline is nuts. So they just finished their 8th season now. So I just wrapped that up, which was unbelievable. I loved it. A lot of people hated
Voltron,
on it.
like the old.
Yeah, they did a reboot on Netflix. Like nobody knows about it.
Yeah,
I didn't know about
that's why I'm
Damn.
fascinated because I used to watch the shit.
Well, I
out
had the
of that.
toy.
Dude, shit was
the,
awesome.
The toy
Shit was
was
awesome.
awesome.
Hell
Like
yeah.
when you could put it together.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me a minute to afford all of them. You know, 'cause that's how we were.
Of course, I got one when I was a
did.
kid. I got the yellow lion, and it wasn't a
My hand
real
wasn't like
Voltron. Yeah, it was some sort of like Japanese knockoff or
Bullbot.
Chinese knockoff. Yeah, something like that. But it was a lion. But I only got one of them, and I wanted the whole set. That has been unbelievable.
Wasn't there like another Voltron, but it was like cars or
Yeah,
some
that
shit?
was-
Yeah, fuck that shit.
That was garbage. No,
Well, I
this
gotta
is
get into
straight
that.
up the lions,
Okay.
and it's got the storyline.
I was in the Battle of the Planets.
What's
too.
his
That
name?
was
Stephen
fantastic.
Young from
yeah.
The Walking Dead.
oh the Chinese dude.
Yeah, the Asian
Yoon.
gentleman.
Oh yeah, that guy.
He does the voice of Keith. And
I just saw him on the new.
the way they did the bad guys is awesome too. Just
It's
dark and
animated
evil.
or it's
animated, and it's light CGI. You can see CGI helping when they do the robot battle scenes, which are unbelievable. But I can't recommend it.
Does your
enough.
son watch it with you?
Yes, he does. I make sure. I bought him all the lions too, and I bought him a
it's
whole
sick.
set of lions.
You will watch
too.
this.
Fucking father of the year right there. That's awesome.
It's good
Seriously.
parenting, man.
yeah.
I just saw Stephen Yoon in the new Twilight Zone. He was in the 4th episode.
He's also in that new comedy on Netflix. It's I Wish You Would Leave. It's some comedian. It's like almost just like Mr. Show, and it's so funny.
Ooh.
Little 15
What's
seasons.
the name of that?
Mr. Show was
I'm
great.
all about Mr.
Mr.
Show.
Show was great.
it really like it's
Write
it's
that
more
down.
Mr. Show. It's more Mr. Show than the Bob and David show that they did on Netflix, which was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this like will bring you back to 1995, staying up and smoking weed and watching HBO. Like it's
No
just,
weed, though.
Say no more.
I was gonna say that's what he's doing tonight.
It's called,
Voltron after the
Described
weed.
like 2 hours from now.
I just I remember mentioning that I stood next to David Cross like a few months ago at the Super Chunk show.
yeah, he loves
He's
that music.
way
yeah.
into.
I'm like there watching.
I think they did a video for him and
He
Gene
was-
Garofalo
yeah,
back in
yeah,
the day, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So he was there, and we're like watching them. Super Chunk's one of my favorite bands, and that was one of the best shows. No frills, Bowery Ballroom, and I like the whole time. I'm like I just want to like fist bump him or something, but I'm like I don't want to bother him. So I texted my girlfriend Karen, and she sends me a picture of her and him together. When she met him, and I was like, oh, okay. So after like the song, I was just like, oh, check out my girlfriend. I'm like, she met you, and he was just like, I don't give a shit. So and then he just kept pogoing, and I was there with Dave for my band, and he left during the encore, and I was like, after the show, I saw him. I was like, where the fuck did you go? He's like, I couldn't stop farting on David Cross, so I had to fucking leave because we ate a lot of food before we went to see the show. Parker, anything?
What last night?
Besides the knee floor punch?
Yeah, dude, floor punch back at it.
After
Last
that
night,
episode, I had
every
to
episode.
research
That's
all
it,
that.
man. Dan Turr is old news. Now we're just gonna fucking name drop fucking floor punch. I started Cobra Kai season 2 last night.
Nice.
I was very excited that band practice was canceled, so I could actually get to that.
That's only
can't do
on,
both?
That's on the YouTube subscription.
YouTube Red,
right?
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
It's funny every time that show, I think it's gonna get like cheesy or like kind of like the reboot with like fucking Will Smith's kid. They like bring it back, and it stays good. So I mean, I watched the first 2 episodes of that. I checked out the new Spotlights today. Shout out to Chris Enriquez.
Oh yeah, I got that in my queue.
Might
So
be
that's music.
yes, music wise. I checked out that, and I checked out the new Saint Hood Reps. So double Long
yeah.
Island shout out right there.
Good stuff. Shout out to Francesco.
Yes, and Derek, my buddy Derek.
Yeah, sure.
Show-wise, I've been fucking actually leaving the house, so it's been pretty exciting. I've been exhausted. So I went to Vitus 2 weeks ago to like a metal show, and it's kind of exciting, like not knowing anybody there. I was like, this is great. I don't know any of these fucking people here.
Did they think you were a cop?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I did drink for free all night though, so that it's got its perks, So I
Whose
checked out
dick
this.
Did you suck?
Yeah, I checked out this band Wolf King. They were awesome, but then this band Conjurer from England fucking stole the fucking show.
What'd you go see though?
Those two.
Oh, those two.
Yeah, it was those two. River of Nile headlined, and it was just too, I don't know, like fucking whatever, like lights and keyboards and too much bullshit. And then last week I went to the Hatebreed anniversary show where I saw Chris Enriquez, funny enough, and Dave Castillo. And that was a fucking sick lineup.
Is
So
that
I mean,
Obituary?
yeah,
Obituary.
so Obituary was fucking crazy. Chromags was amazing.
Terror
was fucking, I don't think I've ever seen Terror in such a big venue. And
Does it take away because it's such a big
a
venue?
little bit. I mean, I know that Hatebreed for years now, I think since like, Jesus, I think 2000 and
Besides
probably,
them.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were sitting because we're
Did
fucking,
anyone touch your dick when you crowd surfed?
No, definitely not even my wife. So she was sitting right next to me. So
She went.
she was sitting right next to me, and she didn't even touch it. So, but no, it was good. It was good, for whatever it is. I mean, it's a big venue, PlayStation, and then next Saturday I go to see fucking Earth Crisis. So I'm fucking
Look at you,
living the
man.
dream,
Look at
man.
you.
Leaving the
That's
house,
it, yeah.
living the dream.
Wow.
That's Brooklyn Bazaar, I think maybe that's
All grown up. Man.
Yeah.
All grown up.
It's fucking exhausting. I don't know how you fucking guys do it.
He has a band.
Yeah.
And he's doing his thing.
Yeah, man.
Still got time for that laundry. Always
Unfortunately.
always laundry.
Laundry always calls.
Yeah, yo, for me, I just want to shout out Hulu because Hulu lately has been fucking
Yep.
like really like the TV stuff on there is great, and it's so overwhelming. Like I have cable, I have Netflix, I have Shudder, I have so many things that like it takes me like 3 hours to pick one thing.
I know.
because
It's almost too much.
not that I don't like what they have, but I'm like it's like when you're flipping through like Pornhub, you're like that's good.
You need to find just the
Yeah.
right thing. for
That's
that
good.
moment.
But let me just get to page
Hulu, I'm
56.
talking about.
So I've been loving watching the Goldbergs from season 1 to the end is just amazing. But the act.
I got to check that out. I got to watch that.
So, but you know the story?
Yeah, I saw the documentary.
I'm kind of vaguely familiar with it. It's in my queue.
Yeah, so there's a documentary called
HBO,
Mommy
Dead, right?
Mommy Dearest, Dead or Dead Dearest, where it's about this woman. It's a totally abducted in plain sight level of insanity. So this woman has a child, and she has something called Munchausen.
Munchausen by proxy, right?
Yeah, so she makes her daughter sick so she could take care of her. Ugh. And the documentary is insane. So, but everyone knows that she kills her mom. Basically, that's what happens.
Thanks for ruining
spoiler
it for me,
alert.
Sam.
Jesus Christ.
Supposed to fucking say spoiler alert.
No, but I'm saying like it's in the documentary.
What if somebody didn't watch the documentary?
Now you got more time for Voltron, Langan. So just save you some time right there.
The 3 people that are listening. Joe Rubino, I ruined it for you.
Not the drummer knocked loose. He canceled when I called him a fat boy. So.
Joe's listening to make sure that John's episode's not better than his. That's it. But it's fucking insane. Patricia Arquette is in it, looking like a young Hedda Nussbaum. Totally. And she.
Not enough people mention Hedda Nussbaum in 2019 anymore.
But if you Google Hedda Nussbaum,
I do all the time.
Great name.
Post beating, she looks like what Patricia Arquette looks like, and Patricia did this and Escape at Dannemora.
Dannemora was brilliant.
How fucking great was that?
So
that
good.
was awesome.
Like
see that.
Paul Dano is.
Yeah,
I love that kid. Like
he. Yeah. Man, ever since his milkshake got drank by fucking...
That's right. I drink your milkshake.
But anyway, Hulu's fantastic. That was on there in the show Shrill, which...
I watched that.
What'd you think?
I thought it was good.
Too girly for your manliness?
Totally. No, I don't... It was good. I'm gonna... Like, I made it... I watched through the whole season. Didn't totally excite me, but... her fucking boyfriend was like, I wanted to punch that dude in the face.
Yeah, that dude sucked with his beard.
Like, how
did you watch Shrill?
I watched 3 episodes of it. I liked it, but my wife could sense that I wasn't too into it, so she just sped ahead and watched the rest of it. So now there's
no,
I'm not gonna
I think
watch
it's got potential.
Yeah.
It reminds me
of.
It reminded me of the show Love, which I like a lot.
I haven't seen that one.
That's a Apatow show.
Okay.
And Girls, but
Okay.
like the girl on fucking Shrill was like a more likable Lena Dunham.
She's awesome. 80 Bryant.
She is
she's
really
like,
funny.
There are times when she carries full episodes of SNL. Like
she's
SNL
great.
She's on there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's what
you mentioned the Twilight Zone earlier. How is that?
So Karen got the subscription to CBS, whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
All access, yeah.
And
What was that, like $10 a month?
I think so.
$6.99. It's kind of
okay.
That's kind of fucking.
Is there anything else?
I mean, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
no,
fuck you, CBS.
Yeah.
Like, put that shit on your TV.
Yeah.
You're trying to get into the streaming.
Why don't you
game and
go
all that.
divvy up that?
Play your position.
Everybody loves Raymond money. Why don't you go put that shit
You
together?
need more.
Yeah.
You need more.
But I watched the first one. No, the fourth one. So Steve from Walking Dead was on there, and it was cool. And the intro, was Jordan Peele, and his he's doing Rod Serling, and it's fucking cool. Like you're
he's
watching
producing the show, right?
He's producing the show.
Is he writing it? He's doing.
No, he didn't do the writing for. Maybe he did for one of them. I have no idea,
Yeah.
but I know that he's doing the Rod fucking role.
The host.
He fucking created The Last OG with Tracy Morgan, which is hilarious.
I love that show.
How fucking funny
love
is that show?
Fucking show. I get a good laugh to almost tears in every
Me
episode.
too.
Yeah. Love
Did
it.
you start season 2 yet?
No, I didn't start season 2
Okay,
yet.
it's 3 episodes in. It's fucking. I fucking laugh out fucking loud every time that show's on, and it's easy. It's 24 minutes, very easy to watch, and the writing.
Yeah.
The cinematography too. It looks great. It looks gorgeous. I know I mentioned it like on our best of last year, whenever the fuck we did that episode.
Right.
So I don't want to dwell on that, but yeah, season 2 is fucking great again. So, but John, let's talk to you.
Sure. I'm here. I'm right
growing up out east.
Yes.
When did you decide that you wanted to play guitar?
Oh man, it's like wasn't even like a
Bring us back.
picture it, Sicily. 1972. All right, so I'll preface this. My father was a flamenco guitar player, and so and he was amazing. So there was always a guitar around the house. Before I could crawl, I remember grabbing his friggin' amazing guitar, and he would just let me just bang on it before I could walk. I remember the thing feeling like it was a mountain to me. But I didn't really get serious until I was like 9 years old. Well, when I was like 5, my brother brought home a copy of Black Sabbath Paranoid, and I remember opening up that gatefold and seeing Tony Iommi, and like, this guy looks like my dad. I want to be this fucking guy. And then just listening to the music, that was it. Like, that album at 5 years old.
Good thing the music didn't suck.
Yeah. Picked a good record.
Yeah, you picked a good one.
And it just like, I still to this day, I get that lightning bolt down the back of my spine when I hear War Pigs. Oh. And so, War Pigs is one of the best blues songs ever written, let alone
fucking
metal.
Drum fills.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Like,
just you could see like somebody like down south in the Delta like sitting on his porch playing that song.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they electrified blues like that. But anyway, it was like a culmination of those two things. And then like when I was like 9 or 10, I just like really got into it. I started getting into like, it was just like the metal that my brother was listening to. He was really into like Yngwie and Dio. But I remember seeing people with Metallica shirts and being like to my brother, like, what is that? And he's like, I haven't heard them yet, but I heard they're fucking crazy. And the first time I heard Metallica was, it must have been, I think it was Seek and Destroy. I was like, this is it. That sound.
yeah.
I remember pestering everybody I knew that played guitar. Like, how do you get that sound? Because none of the amps I
It
had.
was a weird sound.
That chun, chun, chun.
Yeah.
That did it to me. I still, if you hear me plug in my guitar, that's the first sound I make.
I wish
it
I
just
could bottle
doesn't-
that feeling the
Oh my
first time
God.
you heard
Yeah.
Metallica.
Yeah.
When it kicked it up a notch.
Yeah.
I feel you. You know
Well,
what I mean?
Chun, chun, chun.
It's
I remember
amazing.
just looking at the back of Master of Puppets, and I guess they were playing somewhere, but it looked like,
Millions of people.
yeah. I just remember turning that around, being like, whoa, this is insane. Like, there's like a zillion people here.
I remember buying Kill 'Em All at Caldor in Riverhead.
Caldor, yeah.
And turning and looking in the back at that one and being like, this is the ugliest.
Yeah, the ugliest
fucking guy.
dudes.
This has got to be. This isn't like anything I've ever looked at. The
Exactly.
people,
Yeah.
these guys don't look, but they're dressed just like me.
Yeah.
Why is Janet from Three's Company playing drums?
Totally.
And that was it, man. And that was the thing too. It was like I couldn't stand like I liked Motley Crue up until like Theater of Pain. Like and I know they wore makeup and everything, but it was in a different vein than what they did in Theater of Pain. Like and to see like bands like Metallica and Anthrax, like guys that weren't fucking teasing their hair up, weren't wearing makeup, like I was so anti-poser at the time. Like I fucking hated that stuff. And it took me a while to find, some kindred spirits, and then, it was Joe.
Joe.
Yeah. We were in high school together. Longwood.
Shout out to Longwood.
Yeah.
And-
Suffocation, Vice Grip. A lot of good bands came out of there.
Yeah,
Wow.
Joe tells a story of, I guess, Joe Garces.
Yep.
From Vice Grip, and now that he plays in the Ice Cold Killers with him,
Yeah.
and how he basically,
I credit the Garces brothers with bringing hardcore past Nichols Road. Like, I don't think anybody would have known about them because their cousin is Anthony from Killing Time. The Garces brothers. When I was in high school, I wasn't as close with them as Joe was. Joe was allowed to go to hardcore shows. I wasn't.
your parents?
Yeah, no, my parents were very strict. My mom was the church lady. My dad wasn't into religion or anything, but he was definitely he didn't want me running around in Manhattan at midnight. So I kind of had to back off. So when Joe started getting into hardcore, we were always very close, but he was going to shows and he was telling us about these bands. And yeah, that's how I met Joe. Was in high school. He was wearing a Misfits shirt, and I'm like, this dude's cool. And then they put us in the same gym class together, and we fucking hated gym, so we never got dressed. And we would just sit in the friggin' on the sidelines and just talk about Headbangers Ball. Like, oh, did you see the Creator video? Did you see the Coroner video? Flotsam and Jetsam, any kind of underground shit that we could get our hands on. One of us would buy it, and then,
Was he playing bass at that time?
No, he actually had just started. But that's the thing about Joe, man. He was a quick study. I had been playing guitar for about 3 or 4 years, and he was going to pick up the guitar or the bass. And I'm not the reason why he picked up bass. His father was a bass player too. But I said to him, I remember saying to him, everybody needs a bass player. You will never have to worry about being in a band. I'm like, guitarists are a fucking dime a dozen.
So true.
Wise words.
Yeah.
So, and he wound up getting that bass. But I'll tell you this, man. I was ahead of him for a while, but it only took him about a year to catch up to me, and then that's when we formed the band with Dave Horns. Him and Dave Horns are basically cousins, and that's how we started our first band, which was Tension before it was Tension. So,
and what was the sound like?
There was just whatever. We were listening to everything from Jane's Addiction to, this was like 89, 90. So it was like everything from Jane's Addiction, really heavy on the Nuclear Assault. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And, you know, it was like that. We had this guy, Mike Westerlund, singing for us. And, you know, we did a show at Dave's, our drummer, his father was a cop. So, like, we got to play the PBA hall out in Eastport and, like, packed it with all of our friends. And the first time I ever played in front of kids started moshing. I was like, this is my life. This is my life. God, this is what I need to do for the rest of my fucking life.
It is the best feeling.
Yeah. When you get a crowd reaction and they're into what you're doing. And then when they know, when they know your songs and they're singing your songs back to you, like, that's another thing too.
Yeah, that's like the best feeling, and it's hard to, I feel like you either feel that way or you don't, and you can't really explain it. Mm-hmm. Even to this day, like, I don't care if I play to like 5 or 50 or whatever people, I'm playing music. It's fucking awesome.
Yep.
You know, I still fucking love it.
I remember I played at a venue in Florida called Club Q, and the guy comes up to us to book the show. He goes, "Don't feel bad if nobody moves around. Like, it's Florida. Like, they really don't, like, go crazy or anything." So we start playing, and they go, like, absolutely apeshit to the point where...
this guy came full?
Yeah, to the point where actually my singer decided to pick up a bar stool and, like, I think he threw it at my drums, and then my bass player turned around and cut open his eyebrow with the headstock.
Oh, man.
And so we had to take him to the emergency room that night. But then we're getting paid probably $10, whatever, outside at the venue or whatever, and start seeing like a lot of shady people showing up, and I'm just like, well, what's going on over here? And they're like, oh, they're having their local meeting over here. I was like, the local meeting, and it turned out to be like a white power bar. Oh, so I was like, all right, such is Florida.
Yeah.
You know?
So did they give you a brochure?
I don't know, maybe $11. I don't know.
Have you heard the good word?
Yeah.
So moving forward, you and Joe play. So Dave.
It was Dave Musser.
And was Mike still saying? Did Mike?
Well, that was the thing. Mike was real young at the time. Like, Mike was like in his pre-teens at that point, but he was always hanging around. Mike was really into hardcore. And then our singer went to the Navy, and he was like a lifer in the Navy. He's he served like 20 years in the Navy. And then Dave, our drummer, Dave Horns, he went away to college. So it was just like me and Joe. I went to 5 towns. I was doing other shit. Joe was like, doing other things. And then like on one I guess it was like a winter break, like a Christmas break, Dave Horns came home, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going back to school. And like, we just got that look in our eyes. Like, there's a chemistry between the three of us, like musically. Like, whenever we get together, it doesn't matter what we're playing, we will write music. And that's how it's always been. And Joe wanted to do a hardcore band, which I really wasn't. There were like a few hardcore bands that I liked, but I really wasn't like
what?
Sheer Terror, Cro-Mags.
For sure.
Yeah. So that type of stuff, I really liked the guitar heavy stuff. Joe liked more of like the bass driven stuff. Cro-Mags bass driven, but like, like AF and stuff like that. So he was, Joe was really into doing this hardcore thing, and like, we did it, but we didn't know who was going to sing for us. And then his brother had been in a couple of like little bands with like younger kids, and we were all like, this kid's a fucking animal.
He is an animal.
He is born to be on stage. He
right?
Was like Paul, like mini Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Like, and he was 13 when we started Tension.
Oh, wow.
We were all 19. Yeah, we were all 19. Me, Joe, and Dave are basically the same age, and Mike's 6 years younger than us, and he was like our secret weapon. There were bars where, like, he probably wouldn't have been able to even get into that we were playing. And when we'd pull out Mike, it was just, like, fucking unbelievable.
To this day, if you give him a mic, I know you guys are playing in July, it's like a bear. Like, it's insane.
I credit Mike with my stage presence, like, because there are times when he has challenged me. Like, and been like, no, we're not going to be the fucking dudes that just stand there. Like, we're not going to be the guys that fucking just stand there. Like, I'm going off, I'm busting my ass up there, you're going to fucking bust your ass too. And it took me a while to catch up, but like, once, that was just one thing that I always loved to do, and that's where it was Mike challenging me, basically.
Yeah.
And then from there on in, that's something I carried with me forward through every other band I've ever been in. But yeah, he's just
he's the man. So so then from there, like, you guys start recording, start playing shows. You know, Gus and Tim hang out.
It took a while.
Shout out to Gus and Tim, man.
Definitely. Yeah, those dudes were.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first it was just the Shirley kids. Like, Shirley was, like, really weird and insular. Like, the North Shirley part.
Sure.
Yeah, we didn't want to be associated with South Shirley, but, you know, like, so when we first started with Tension, it was a group of kids from Shirley that just, like, had our backs. It was, like, a good solid 10, 12, like, hardcore kids. They would help us with our equipment every damn show.
Were there other bands in the area?
No, there wasn't really any other band in our area. Like, we weren't really, like, playing with. The only other band that was close to us was Beginning of the End, which became Outrage. We played a couple of shows with them, but we were kind of like, we weren't really, like, that tight with them at the time. But then they really started to support us, so we started supporting them, and that was, like, the SUP days. Doc, you know, and, like, Doc and Kyle started coming to our shows, and then that was it. It was like
Kyle, love him.
Yeah, man,
the man right there.
I forgot. Keep going, because like Doc asked me to ask you a question.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I gotta remember what it was.
About that.
Oh boy, this is gonna suck.
I think it was like a nickname or something.
No, he's had a couple of things.
All right, no, I love Doc. I love him to death.
I mean, like, seriously, like, how many fucking videos did he make?
God.
Like, he was a documentarian, basically.
Yeah,
he's the reason we can go to YouTube and look at these videos and like, it's insane. Like, never did you think when we were younger that there's going to be a place that you could fucking type up and, like, pull up 1996.
Yeah.
But people like Doc fucking documented all
I remember
that.
buying VHS tapes from him.
Yep.
And, you know, multiple shows.
Yep.
Was he selling them?
Oh yeah, he would sell them. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there were many nights we hung out in his basement, and he was living with his parents, and we were, like, in his basement in Miller Place, like, just how his parents didn't get high all the time too. Kyle was smoking
Maybe they did.
blunts that were called Godfathers, and, like, you know, they
It's
were
the
like,
hollowed out blunt and restuffed.
like,
With,
oh,
I heard about that.
like, dank. I was never really, like, a weed smoker, and the contact highs were unbelievable. And we used to hang out in Doc's basement, and, like, Kyle and Doc would draw graffiti. We would just watch hardcore shows, like, and it was just like, it was bliss. It was bliss, and Tension was getting big at that time. Like, that's when we recorded the demo.
What year is this? Like,
This is 94.
Okay.
Yeah, 94. We put the demo out in the summer of, I want to say, like, the summer of 94. And we guerrilla marketed that shit. Like, we just, like, we all threw our money in, and we just went to hardcore shows and, like, gave it out. And at that time, there was, like, two different scenes. There was, like, what was going on out east. And then out here, you had the big guys. You had, you know, Neglect, Silent Majority. We were talking about Standoff still, so I guess they were from Queens or whatever. But, like, those guys were, like, who we wanted to be. And
So there was, like, a disconnect, kind of.
There was, but then there was a moment where it converged, and then
I remember, because I don't know, because I wasn't there, but every time I talk to someone, they mention whatever you're going to mention, and you know, I feel like Tripface was involved in.
Tripface was out east. Yeah,
Yep.
they were.
Yeah,
out
they
east.
were. But the thing about Tripface was they had cred out west. Like,
Yeah,
everybody
yes,
loved them out
yeah.
west. People looked at us. We were a Roxy band. Like,
Yeah.
there was a while before anybody cut us a break. I remember Artie Philly trashing us in Under the Volcano, like, totally fucking
Oh yeah. Oh, he was brutal.
excoriating
Artie.
us. I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
He was always a great writer.
One of the best frontmen of all time,
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
Did Millhouse. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
What was it Black People? That was the other band he did, which was...
Oh, I don't even know.
It's like a
Celebrity
Joy Division
Murders.
band he did. Like, I don't know if it was a spoof or a one-off, but it was
Yeah.
awesome. And they all wore, like, black glasses, and they sounded exactly like Joy Division. Like, they were fucking great.
Now that's funny. I didn't.
But
Yeah,
we got excoriated Under the Volcano. We just, like, again, we kept getting shitty review after shitty review, but, like, at the shows, we're getting bigger and bigger. And, like, I guess the kids didn't give a fuck what was...
Where were
they
you
saying.
playing then?
Roxy. We were playing Roxy, the Right Track Inn, and the Roxy were letting us play. I don't
So
know.
like open up for like bigger national bands or something?
No, what Frank Cariola used to do with us is, like, he would call us up and be like, hey, you guys want to play with Silent Majority? You want to play with Neglect on a Sunday matinee? You're like, fuck yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And then we realized, like, you know, he'd tell us, yeah, you guys are going on at 7 or 8 at night. So what he was doing was 2 shows. So we were getting to play the second show where all the fucking cool kids went home. But we were going to those shows and we were handing out flyers and demos, and people would, you know, some people, they would throw the fucking flyers on the ground. They would throw the fucking demo. It didn't matter. We made thousands of copies of that Falling Down demo, and we gave it to everybody. When you give shit out to people,
Sure.
guerrilla marketing, man,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've made backwards mistakes in other bands where you try to sell your fucking demo, and that doesn't work.
I remember Elmo handed out the Southpaw demo at the VOD record release at PWAC.
Yeah.
And he fucking handed out like 5,000 of them or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elmo, my
Elmo's the
keto
man.
brother.
He's the fucking man right there.
You guys are doing keto?
Yeah.
Nice.
Me, him, my girlfriend. I'm down 25 pounds.
There you
but
go, man.
Nice.
When you got to lose 60, that's not much. Share off the Titanic. But yeah, so you're doing your thing. Things are happening. When do you said that there was a moment that you remember that like the two.
This is the way I remember it, and it's only coming from my point of view. So Eddie Reyes and Joe Rubino might have a completely different view, and they can say I'm wrong or whatever. I'm just saying what I saw through my own two eyes. We were playing a show out in Miller Place, and I don't know, was it Clockwise? It must have been Clockwise. They were playing, and we were kind of stoked to be on the bill with them, and like things were still kind of like chilly, not like bad, like people talking shit, but it was still like we still weren't like we hadn't broken through yet to them. And then with tension, that was another thing too, is we would roll with like 70, 80 deep everywhere we went. We weren't looking for trouble. It's just that when people saw that we weren't these fucking tough guys, we were all teddy bears and we wanted to be friends with people. We wanted to talk to people and shit. People just started coming around and they were drawn to that. And they, these guys are really funny. They like comedy. They're more into fucking Monty Python and, whatever. And there was a party and I think fucking somebody stepped up to Eddie Reyes and like, it was a bunch of like fucking like jock assholes. And somebody stepped up to Eddie Reyes. Eddie Reyes will get back up in anybody's fucking face. He doesn't give a shit. But there was a lot of them. And then when he turned around, like everybody from like our side was there too. And it was like, nah, you know what? He's a fucking hardcore kid. Fuck this shit. And it was all of us there too. So like when these guys saw what was going on, I think they fucking backed off.
Yeah.
And after that, like Joe and Eddie Reyes had history from before that. They knew each other from like way back in the day, like late 80s, early 90s shows. And
yeah, he told me Joe mentioned that I guess when they first met,
the fear shirt.
Yeah, the fear shirt. He thought it was like some like Nazi screwdriver shirt, but it was like the fear shirt. And they they basically squashed it right away because I guess I don't know, from far away like the fear shirt.
Those two F's kind of look like
yeah. So I guess from there, like
then they realized like they got to know us, like George Reynolds, all those guys, like Tommy and the Jackavinas. I love the Jackavinas.
Yeah.
I love Mike and Loretta, all of them, and Rich, and they just kind of saw like, dude, these guys are just a bunch of clowns. Like they're not looking to start shit with anybody. Just because we'd roll up in a show, with a bunch of people, we weren't looking for trouble. Trouble definitely found us sometimes. I won't deny that, but. After that, it was like that one summer, like we just were like, we were cool. And then we started getting like good shows. We got offered to play at the PWAC. And it was like, holy fucking shit.
You guys scared Parker. Just want you to know, by the way. Very frightened.
I was one of the scared ones.
Very frightened little pudgy white kid from Massapequa.
Yeah. The tough streets of Massapequa Park got to me.
Didn't you book them, right?
I did, actually. Yeah. God damn it. That's a flyer I didn't fucking take out. Actually, the first Sky Came Falling show, you guys headlined at the Massapequa Park Knights of Columbus.
Yeah.
And it was Fall Victim, which, funny enough, the guitarist is in my band now, Andrew. Inside, shout out to Malamo and his boner.
Yep.
Cleanser,
oh my God.
Keith.
Motive. Right when the 7-inch was coming out, which my favorite 7-inch of all time, thank you. And then you guys headlined.
Yep.
And I remember that. So that was the day after the second PWAC, or the Common Ground, whatever you want to call it, closed in Bayshore.
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck, is anybody going to care? Is anybody going to show up? And like, I think the fucking thing held like 350 people, and like we squeezed somehow like 500 people in there. And it was fucking insane.
That was crazy. That was a crazy time period too, because like it's not. I don't know what's going on now. Maybe this is happening now.
No.
But okay, just like I was like, no. Whatever you're gonna say, no. Every town had its own scene. Like there was always like one or two bands from each town. Like Hop Hog had a band, East Islip, CI, like
Riverhead.
Yeah, Brentwood. The Brentwood crew, and then like it just all started becoming like one. It was a really good time to be in a band, and it was a really good time to like make connections, and it was crazy. It just like it all converged, and then once like the cool kids were in attention, it was nuts. It was just like that's when it was unbelievable. That's when every show was a guaranteed packed house for whatever band was playing.
For whatever.
Yeah.
And then I know that Center Reach started doing shows too, right?
At the VFW.
The Hungarian place was
Hall.
awesome.
Do you guys know about the Hungarian Hall on Exit 58?
No.
Yeah, it's right off of, it's just a little bit north of the expressway on, right at Exit 58, that main road. I don't know what it's called. But there was a little hole, little hole in the ground, a hole in the wall, and like they used to let us play there. They'd, like kids beat the shit out of each other, held like 300 people, played with Hatebreed and Outrage one night, and it was just like unreal.
Yeah, Hatebreed, like I was listening to the Josta podcast, and Jamie mentions Tension a bunch, where he's
we used to play with Medford VFW. We used to play Bristol Bike Exchange. We met up with them.
Connecticut, right?
Yeah, that was awesome. The Bristol Bike Exchange shows were nuts, especially when Hatebreed was playing. But those were us and Hatebreed were kind of like kindred spirits. A little bit different music wise, but like we just definitely were like going for that like fucking stripped down riff mosh part in and out type of music.
Yeah, amazing. Like 25 years later, right? They're playing,
still playing,
whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he's the only one left.
It's him and the bass player.
Is it?
Those are the only two. And I think the guy that's playing guitar now was like the original guy, and they brought him back.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Last time I saw Hatebreed, I was over in Europe with FATA doing this Sounds of the Underground tour. And,
I remember.
All the way out there. I guess we were like in Belgium somewhere. It was like some like summer festival tour type of thing. And I remember like, I want to go see them. I want to go see Hatebreed. So like we went outside, and like I was all the way in the back, and like Jamie comes out and he's like, I don't condone violence at our shows. Well, I fucking endorse it. And like the place was on fire. There were people behind me, and I was like a mile away from the stage. People behind me were throwing each other around and beating the shit out of each other. I'm like, I remember playing Bedford VFW with these fucking guys.
That's
They
funny.
were great. They were unbelievable. Like so tight. It was so good.
Yeah, they were one of those bands that like the only band that I think really made that crossover. They were like, okay, hardcore. These audiences, like, I guess there might have been like a ceiling, but they took everything that they can get. It's like, oh, Slipknot tour, this tour, doesn't matter. Where people are like, oh, you guys sold out. But
I mean, they were pretty much the first like Victory band to get noticed.
Victory had a really
I mean,
good
because
lineup,
like
man.
they got on Ozfest, and I was just like, holy fucking shit, a Victory band is on Ozfest? Like, how the fuck did this happen? And then, like you said, they got like the Slipknot tour. They got so many Slayer tours. They did. They
Slayer's
did like
a
that
rough one to open for too.
yeah,
man.
I mean, they did. There was this very short-lived tour called like Tattoo the Earth tour.
oh, I remember, I was there.
Yeah.
That they got that, and that was with like Soulfly and shit.
I
like
remember
that.
it was actually not even Soulfly. It was Metallica, Slipknot, Slayer, Sepultura. And
Okay, Sepultura.
Hatebreed might have opened.
Yeah.
And we were we were such metal losers that I was like, I can't believe Slipknot's playing after playing after fucking Slayer. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
But like back then, I was like, this is ridiculous. Why did I care? I have no idea.
Yeah, we've all been there.
But so you ended up leaving because I know
Yes.
Joe said that Ecstasy ruined his band. How true is that?
Yeah, at that time period, like shit got crazy. That was the late '90s in on Long Island, and the summer of '98 was like the summer of ecstasy on Long
Absolutely.
Island. Yeah, Joe definitely like didn't dabble in that stuff. That summer, I was kind of like, I'd never taken hallucinogenics before that, and then that summer was the first time I took magic mushrooms, first time I took ecstasy, and it kind of like there were things in there in that mushroom trip that I'm still different from.
That's
Like,
wild.
from beforehand.
Wow.
Like, and I remember the snap, and I remember the feeling, and like I was just like different.
You
after
said
that.
that was the first time you took hallucinogenics. You said, or were
Yeah,
you
the
taking
first.
acid?
No, I was 20. Yeah, I didn't fuck around with anything hard until
What
that
made you do
summer.
it?
What's that?
What made you do it?
All
A
right.
girl.
No. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. My father was definitely like an eccentric dude, and he was, from the late 50s, early 60s, he was hella into Castaneda. And he read all those, like, Separate Way of Living, all that stuff from Castaneda. And, there's a lot about peyote and stuff like that in there. And I remember those books always being around my house, the trippy covers on them and stuff. And then, that summer I started asking my dad about hallucinogenics because it was going around, and he just handed me a copy of Castaneda's first book, and I read it. And then I handed it off to Rick Smith, and then, like, he read it. And then, but Rick had been schooled in the art.
Sure. Shout out to Ancient
Oh,
Tongue, Rick.
God. Yeah, I love that dude. So it was like, holy shit! It just like opened up a lot of things, and one of the things it definitely affected was like my guitar playing and the type of music I started listening to. It just kind of like went somewhere. You know, there wasn't really a lot of crazy psychedelic music back in the late '90s. Like,
No.
you had to dig. My Bloody Valentine was it. Rich Capello hit me off with My Bloody Valentine.
Oh yeah.
And then I was listening to a lot of like Hum.
But even like earlier, like you said, Jane's Addiction. Jane's Addiction was like the closest thing.
Yeah.
When you think of like that stuff, like a lot of stuff on Ritual.
Yeah.
Was like
Psychedelic.
Like,
yeah.
whoa, what the fuck's going on here?
question.
The first Pumpkins record, Gish.
Absolutely.
Totally. Like you hear that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started to really hear music in a different way. And, you know, that's kind of like what started the whole thing with me leaving Tension. I just kind of wanted to do more. I wanted to open up. You can hear, like, even on a Tension demo, you can hear me. I'm trying to play, like, fucking ninth chords and, like, suspended 11th chords under distortion. Like, anywhere I could sneak one in, you know, you could hear that in there. But, like, I really wanted to just, like, open up my playing and kind of move.
Too. Yo, we talked about Jay Booty before off air.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was putting together Passenger Always Dies with Paul from Grudge Holder.
Yeah.
And we asked Jay Booty to be the drummer, so we sent him stuff. And like I'm not a hardcore guitar player. I always like, you know, I'm just an indie rock guy. So he sent him like 3 or 4 songs, and he's like, "Hey, Daddy," he's like, "That's pretty good, man. You got anything less jangly though?" And I was just like, "No." I was like doing like the weirdest, like I anything to not play a power chord is what I was doing, you know.
Yep.
And that's all I remember. And like to this day, I'm like, "Got anything less jangly though?"
Yeah, but that's when I really started getting into drum and bass, like really hard dark step jungle. You know,
I'm right there with you, man.
That's it.
Well,
Langen's cup of coffee right there.
So he was in a band with George called Earthling Massive, and it was, I mean, it had some drum and bass.
We were
influence.
trying, we just didn't know how to do it.
Atari Teenage Riot.
Yeah, we were just like cavemen trying to fucking like bang that rock together, and like we couldn't figure it out. But Jay was trying to play those drum and bass breaks, like amen breaks on his drums, and like we just didn't know how to do it. So like we knew we had to get.
Would you listen to like the Ed Rush, like the Virus, like what you say in the dark?
Well, we were listening to like Phantom 45, 187,
right,
like that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
Like really hard. You know, DJ Hype was like our fucking god.
I still have his mixtapes, man.
Yeah.
He was the best scratcher out of all those guys.
But the beats that he would put down, we were listening to Ming and FS. Yeah, Earthling was a conversation that Jay Booty and I had. Like we were like, we want to do this kind of music. We want to meld heavy metal, hardcore, and rock with drum and bass beats. Because to me, drum and bass was like the most aggressive shit I've ever heard in my life. Like I would try to play over it all the time, just didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Hard.
You know? Kind of a funny story how we got George too, if you ever want to like. Talk
Yeah, sure. I remember because I went to high school with Mike Leota.
Yeah, Mike.
So Mike,
chaotic.
I was over at it wasn't called a swing set, or maybe it was at that time, and he was handing out like the first 2 songs with Jill.
Yeah.
Jill is the singer.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing a band with the singer of Mind Over Matter, blah blah blah." So he gave me the 2 songs, and it was very different from what it turned out to be. So,
yeah.
But how'd you get George?
Oh, that was funny because like Jay Booty was, I don't know what happened with Kamuzi in Day in the Life. I don't know if he was leaving.
Oh yeah.
And
that guy was
George,
an underrated drummer.
I love
was going to
that
put
dude.
that out there.
Awesome drummer.
Pete Motive, actually not a fan of him though.
No.
Doesn't like his drumming style.
I like Kamuzi
Man,
a lot.
dry snitching.
That's it.
Jesus.
Shout out
big
to
is
Pete
his
McCoyle
nipples?
though. Pete McCoyle's my boy.
How big is his nipples?
Seriously, good question.
Yeah. So Jay Booty was like, they were telling, like, I think George really wanted him to play in a day in a life, and Booty was like just like so fucking into it. He was like practicing every day, and then it never materialized for him. I don't know what happened. I think Day in a Life kind of like did their thing.
Yeah.
And me and Jay Booty would just drive around in his friggin' Volkswagen, like listening to the drum and bass stuff. And we were just trying to figure out how the hell to do this. And we would get together in his basement. It was just me and him writing riffs. He was good friends with Case from Brown 25. Dave Case came in, and like Dave was an awesome bass player, but we just didn't have a singer. And we knew we wanted Jill, because Jill like came from the club scene, from the rave scene. Like she knew how to sing over that kind of music. But we knew we needed a dude. If we were going to do heavy music, we needed somebody.
I want to get you on the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Just move it closer. Is that thing?
No, how about this?
Just because I know when I edit.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to be quiet. Yeah. So I was
this is
like,
a very important part.
Who the hell are we gonna get? And Jay's like, yeah, let's ask George. And I'm like, that's like, me asking out, Farrah Fawcett. Like, I'm like, Jay, no, there's no fucking way he's gonna do this. And he's like, no, man, we'll have him come down. I'm like, oh, fuck. So George comes down, and like I knew him from hardcore shows, got along with him great, awesome dude. But I was like nervous when he came down. It wasn't like we were trying him out. It was like in my mind he was trying us out, and like we had like half songs finished, we had parts of songs. I don't know if Leota was there at the time. Like Leota was putting down drum and bass beats from like sequencers and pads and stuff. And George came down and he listened to it, and he didn't say anything at first. And I was like, man, I remember talking to Jay. We went to a party. I don't know if you know John Bartoldus, John Smarts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at a party at Smart's house that night. And I was talking to Jay. I'm like, oh, man, what do you think? And Jay's like, I don't know. And then I ran into George in the kitchen. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to fucking ask him. And I'm like, were you into it? Was it a little too like loose for you? And he's like, no, I fucking loved it. He's like, I want to do it.
Cool.
And I was like, holy shit, how the fuck did this happen? But Jay was right. You just got to ask. You just got to put it out there. And George came, and then that's when we really started writing songs. And at that point, I had like basically like broke from tension and wasn't on bad terms, and always stayed on good terms with those guys. But they understood, like I just was kind of like heading out into space,
And if you're not there, and plus what you guys did, you did. That's it. No one can take that away. But once you aren't there mentally as far as like the music, it's such a like no one wants to hear a Tension record that doesn't sound like Tension.
Right.
Yeah,
so we gave them that one once. It was called Cleansing Through the Burning Time. We did a concept album, and like that was well after like we had all split up and just like came back together. But yeah, people don't want to hear it. They, that type of band, they don't want to hear anything that doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like moving out. But, Joe was starting to open up his mind too. Like you look at the band he did after Tension, Dearly Departed, man. Holy shit.
With Malamo.
And those guys caught fire too. Like, and they, but you look at that's nowhere fucking near Tension.
Nowhere.
Yep.
Nowhere at all. And those two guitar players were so good.
Ryan and Jeff.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really a good band.
And my old singer put it out, so there you go. It's like
that's
full
right.
circle
When
right
they
there.
save you,
there you go. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I did an album with them after I got home from FATA, and I just kind of like wasn't in FATA anymore. I did one album with Dearly Departed, but that's another story. That was another weird situation.
Well, yeah. So all right. So basically, you bounce out of like because I know what Greg Kubacki replaced you out of Earthling.
Yeah, that was a really weird time. Like at that point I really, call me a sellout or whatever, but at that point I really just my ears got tired of everything. I was listening to a lot of down tempo like Boards of Canada, just really weird, dense electronic music. And
I think that's where I really remember you from.
Yeah, well, that's how I met you through Rich.
Yeah.
Rich started writing music with you. And
yes.
You were the songwriter. Like,
yeah.
That's how, like, Rich, like, hyped you up for months before I had got a chance to meet you. And he's like, this guy writes songs. He writes whole songs.
Yeah.
And he can sing and all this stuff. And I was like, that was awesome. And then I finally met you.
That's funny. Yeah, because Dave Casal, from my band, like when we first started, he's like, Rich is a fucking awesome guitar player, and you write really good songs. You're just not a good guitar player, and you guys should just write songs together. And that's how it all started.
Yeah. Rich is one of the best guitar players I've ever played.
He's so good.
Yeah,
but he's another one who just like gave it up and was like he was just like, I'm sick of this guitar. I'm gonna just write hip hop songs from now on.
Yeah. And he's good at it though. He's good at writing electronic music too.
Yeah,
so
he was the king of Fruity Loops.
Yeah, he was.
Him and Conti.
He was, yeah. I kind of like branched off from Fruity Loops that time, and I started doing my own like solo electronic stuff by myself, and I was just making CDs for my friends, just doing like real low key down tempo. My dad got sick that year. That was 2003, and that was like me and my dad were very close, so that was like a blow to me, and it just like kind of put me off balance. And it was just strange. I just wasn't making music at all, and then the whole opportunity with FATA came up, and that was like fucking holy shit.
we had Brian Deneve on If I Ruled the World.
Yep.
And when he mentioned it, I was like, holy shit, you're right.
Yeah.
And he did. I forgot how that happened, right? I guess Scott had left.
Yeah.
I was actually at his last Tension show. We were talking about it upstairs at the downtown when he announced it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So what do you remember for that?
Well, I remember the story that Brian told a little differently.
Okay. His
Brian,
was a good story, though.
It was a good story, but I'll give you the backstory to his story.
Sure.
I was on the phone with Joe one day. We were working on that Tension concept album in 2003.
Everyone look real quick.
Cool. We were working on that concept album in 2004, actually. And I'd bounced on a practice once. I don't know if you've ever been in a band with Joe Rubino, but you do not. You need a doctor's note.
Fortunately, no.
To do that.
Doctor's note.
I showed no, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I've
right.
shown him doctor's notes. Like, been like, yo, man, I can't make it to practice. I'm gonna go to the doctor. And then like the next day, he'd be like, did you really go to the doctor? And I'd show him like a prescription for some antibiotic I got. I'm like, Joe, I went to the fucking doctor. So
Wow.
He's like me
Tight
then.
shit.
That's
I don't.
brutal.
Yo, I do.
No, he's not brutal. It's just really fucking funny.
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, band practice, like to Joe, it was like, and
Church.
we were doing like these recordings too. We were recording at full force and like, staying up to fucking -300 in the morning. Like, it was just ridiculous. And, but there was one practice I couldn't make, and I was like calling Joe the next day. I'm like, oh man, I can't make it. He's like, yeah. He's like, we might be doing a Dearly Departed thing, but Scott Gross might be playing guitar for us because Jeff had left. Or no, Ryan had left. And I was like, what the hell is Scott doing? Why is he leaving FATA? He's like, yeah, no, things aren't going. I heard the other side of the story from FATA, but, but they just split.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, is FATA looking for another guitarist? And Joe's like, I don't know, why? And I'm like, I'm thinking about it. And I wasn't even making music. Like, I was driving a truck for fucking Toyota parts. And I was like, yo, get me Brian's number. He's like, all right, but you can't bail on practice on them if you get in their band.
Yeah. Talking from Autumn to Ashes.
Yes,
if
from
you're
Autumn to
listening.
Ashes, yes. So that was crazy too. I remember it was a span of like 2 days. I like called Brian up and left a message on his voicemail. I'm like, hey Brian, hey, what's up? It's John Cox. I heard you guys might be looking for a guitarist. I just wanted to see what you thought. Maybe I could help out or whatever. And like, I didn't hear from him for like a full day. And then he called me back he left a voicemail on my phone at like fucking 4 a.m. And he was like trashed. And he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, yeah. He's like, you want to do it? Give me a call, man. Call me back. Let me know what you think. I'm like, all right. And I got back in touch with him finally. And he's like, yeah, your first tour is going to be in a month and you're going out for 6 weeks with us. And I was like,
Fucking amazing.
yeah, like, I was like, wait, what
did you
about
have-
a tryout or anything?
No.
He's like, no. He's like, we're only going to be home for 1 day. So you have to make that practice 1 day. And then we're going to go. Then we're going to Phoenix the next morning. And I'm like,
You had to quit, though, your job, right?
oh, yeah. I fucking, like 2 days later, I went into my boss. Like, I had a good relationship with my boss over at Toyota.
How
I'm like,
big
hey.
were they at that point? They were pretty big.
That
right?
Yeah,
was-
they were in a
yeah.
bus. They
That
were
was
in a
the
bus.
highest.
That was
Yep.
right after Fiction We Live came out.
Which was huge because that was
was Bob
Vagrant.
still the tour manager?
Who?
Bob Farley?
No, it wasn't Bob Farley.
Okay.
It was some other dude. It was a while before that. There was some other guy in between. And then we had Race for a while, which was a breath of fresh air.
Shout out to Race.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, no, he was like, when he became our tour manager, we desperately needed someone like him. And but so that was it. And then I went from not playing any shows at all, and the biggest show I had played prior was like the swing set with VOD. It was like
I was
500
there.
people. Yeah, it was Silent Majority, Tension, VOD.
Oh, yeah.
That was my last Tension show. Like
Oh, was
Tension
it?
proper. Like
Yeah.
that was 2000. That's when I left. Like for real. And
That was a good way to go.
yeah, that show was friggin' legendary.
Mayhem.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were forming pits to me tuning my guitar. Like,
That's when you know it's real. So how was that one practice with them?
it was white knuckle because FATA on recording versus FATA live is a totally different animal. Live, they're definitely, Fran has a little bit more lag in his step. He plays his songs a little slower sometimes. Like he's definitely like a feel drummer, a great drummer. But it took me like 1 or 2 songs. And like another thing too is like I wasn't used to this. Like anytime I'd make a mistake, like any of the bands I've ever been in, if I made a mistake like at practice or whatever, like everybody would just stop and regroup. No, FATA just fucking rolled over me like a truck, and like I just got used to it. And I was like, oh man, I thought I sucked. And like then like at the end of the practice when we were like reeling up our chords, like Fran and Pilato that was playing bass at the time.
Mike,
Pilato, awesome guy.
Yeah.
Love that dude. they were like, yeah, you did a really good job, man. You did awesome. And I was like, holy shit. So then that was it. The next morning we were.
That's a pretty big switch to go off. Like you weren't doing anything,
right?
And then you're just like 0
6-week
to 100.
tour on a bus.
Boom.
No.
Also,
like you're
a lot of
up in
people wouldn't really jump on that. You know, you put the ball in motion. You could have just sat on your ass and been like, I really want to do it, but I'm not going to call.
I'm not gonna get all metaphysical on you, Sam. Like, and I don't know. I'm not.
Let's do it, man. I'm high as fuck right now.
Dude, bro, come on.
We just watched Voltron before this. So.
I know you're high on life right now. I wasn't making any kind of decisions. It was all falling out of my mouth. And I'm not saying like I know, you know, everybody has their beliefs on what they believe, like soul wise and religion wise, but I wasn't making any decisions. It was all like I was just opening my mouth. These words were coming out. I don't know where this bravery was coming from. Yeah. And it just that's how it fucking happened. Like I wouldn't have jumped on it. I really don't think I would have jumped on it. Thank fucking God I did. But
thank God Joe is so unbearable to be in a band with that you were like, I'm out of here.
Oh God, you got to see some of the texts I tell him about his like how horrible it is being in a band with him. I love him to death. And he's like a brother to me, but like it's just they're, you know.
What tours do you remember doing? Like
no, but hold on before we get there.
Okay.
So you jump on a plane to Phoenix.
Yes.
Like what do you fucking like the whole time? This is what you want to do, and it's not like you guys are. You know, it's not like you're a zillionaire, but like you're off to a 6-week tour.
Yes.
Of like, holy shit.
There was a learning curve. But
how was that feeling, just sitting on that plane, knowing that you were? This is almost like a, you know, like a sweepstakes.
Unreal. Like I know, like when I see people who win the lottery, I know how they feel.
Yeah.
Because I got to feel that. I remember, just like thinking about what my life was before that, and like all the other musicians that are out there, like struggling. Like I felt like I found the cheat code, like on a game. It just felt like a cheat code. Like
up,
holy
down,
shit.
down.
Nice.
Left, right.
ABBA, Icaro Warriors.
BA/.
Yeah, come on. 30 lives.
And it was just crazy. It just like was nuts. My dad had just died. You know, things were like, you know, strange with my living situation, and it just couldn't have happened at a better time. You know, I was in a relationship at the time, but you know that just definitely suffered for me, you know, not being there and stuff. You know, that was really hard.
Sure, because that's one of those things where, you know, like, I don't know, you know, I'm sure everyone's significant other would be like, you're going to go where for 6 weeks? And do what? I just watched The Dirt. I know what you guys do on tour.
Yeah, so absolute
Tommy Lee's going to fuck your girlfriend now.
Absolutely, and it just was...
Well, how was the first show?
Nuts. We were playing with that band Atreyu. I'll tell you this. This was really funny. I'm fucking nervous. You know Atreyu, the band I'm talking about, right? Well, yeah. So I'm like backstage in Phoenix, and I'm pacing, and there's like 3,000 people there, and like you can hear the crowd, you know, for the other bands and stuff, and like I was just nervous off my ass, and like Mike Pilato came out. You know, I had only known the guy like 3 days. He comes out, like I don't know if you guys know him personally, but he is a very nice guy.
I met him.
You know him.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah, sweet dude. Like, he came out and, like, he grabbed me by my shoulders and he pushed me outside. And, like, you know, he was going to give me the pep talk. And we look, and the guys from Atreyu were practicing the tripod. Do you know, like, the heavy metal tripod?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were practicing that. And I, like, looked at Mike. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? He was, like, laughing with me and stuff and, like, kind of broke it a little bit. But it was really funny. Like, these guys are these guys doing it? Is this a joke? And, like, Mike's like, no, this is their shtick. You know, like, they're, you know.
Is that when they had the fluorescent guitars, too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they had the fluorescent guitars, the makeup. The friggin' drummer was wearing clothes that were, like, really way too tight for a guy his size.
I wear his nipples.
He's a big dude too.
What?
Brandon, he's a big boy.
Yeah. They were Atreyu, they were nice guys. Like the singer Alex was really cool. Like during the course of that 6 weeks, like I got to know him, and he was a really nice guy. Like definitely.
So yeah, big boy, that Brendan or whatever you said from
the drummer of Atreyu, yeah, he was a big dude. Now he plays with 3 bass drums because he thinks he's Tommy Lee, but that's a whole different story.
$50 nipples.
Parker's gonna catch so much smoke after this episode, shitting on all the
nipples.
drummers. Yeah. It's like, who's that weird dude from that stupid show that keeps talking about?
Like, what's that band? Anointing the Shithead? It's a fucking new band he's in. You know?
Yeah, Parker's in a new band. He's
show coming up.
Yeah. Shout out to fucking Rick Jimenez for fucking hooking that shit up. So.
I like when you spick it up like that.
Yeah, that's my boy. My fucking wife's half Mexican, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I gotta show
listen,
dude. I've seen fucking El Nino live. Like I know what's going on. You know?
As the resident Hispanic guy, I like
my
when
wife's
people say
Ecuador
Jimenez.
too. I like to think I'm partial.
I like
too.
Yeah,
I
by
like
proxy.
that's
She
true.
was born there.
Yeah, you know.
By proxy.
Dude, I'm going to Besito for fucking Cinco de Mayo. Like I know what's up.
I love that.
Dude, place rolls.
So how long was your stint with From Autumn to Ashes?
It was let's see, I got in April of 2004, and I was in until basically January of 2006. So,
So that was a while.
about a year and a half, year and 3/4.
Did you make a record with them?
Yes, I did. We went up to Vancouver right as you had Tim on the other show, Tim from VOD.
Yeah.
He recorded with Garth Richardson. They were there right before we were. We were the next band up after them. They evidently had their shit together.
Oh, you guys did?
Oh yeah, no, that was a really rough time. We wrote that album, Abandon Your Friends, and that was crazy. Like that was just shit was just really fucking nuts. I don't know what aspect you want to get into on that.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
yeah, we toured on the Fiction We Live a lot. We went over to Europe. We got to do a bunch of really cool fall and winter touring in Europe and
what was some crazy shit that you like bands like? Who did you share a stage with at some festival that you're like, this is bananas? I got to go watch this band.
Oh, Foo Fighters, Dinosaur Jr.
Wow.
We did Reading and Leeds.
Yeah,
that was a
insane.
nuts
Huge.
story how that happened. We were only supposed to play the small stage, which was going to be that year with Death from Above 1979, which is like, holy shit, I love that band. But something happened with Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy was supposed to open up, and Corey Brennan, our manager, was also Slipknot's manager. And something happened, and there was a little bit of a thing where, Fall Out Boy can't play, so they traded favors so that they could get Slipknot on some other huge thing. Corey's like, well, then can you put FATA on first for Reading and Leeds both days? And they were like, sure. So now it's like, now you're playing, I was on fucking Titantrons on the side of the stage. I'll put it this way. When we played, there was 20,000 people there. When Foo Fighters played, there was 75, 80,000 people.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
But this is a crazy shit your pants story. Like, we're about to go on at Reading and Leeds, and there's a 40-foot gap between you and the crowd. Like, there's a big barrier there, and I'm at that point, my stage fright had definitely chilled out a little bit, but this was a reignition on a whole other level. And I get there and I go to plug my guitar in, and fucking no sound. No fucking sound. Nothing. The fucking amp won't even go on, and the Foo Fighters guitar tech just looks at me, comes over, he's like, hold on, puts his hands up like that, sticks a flashlight in his mouth, goes back down behind the dual rectifier, right? And then I see his thumb go up and the lights on my amp come up.
Amazing.
He just gave me a fuse right fucking there and saved the goddamn day.
Pro.
Yeah.
Money.
MVP right there.
That's why. That's how he works for the Foo Fighters, because he's that guy.
He just
Right. Gets it
Flashlight
done.
mouth.
just,
That's what they call him.
I couldn't even give him till after the show. I wanted to give him some sort of sign of how grateful I was. I love you, thank you. You just fucking
autograph his tension CD.
Sweet.
I don't
sure
think he
he
gave
knew.
a fuck about shit about tension.
He saw the look in your eye. He knew.
Yeah, he knew this
Yeah.
guy. He's like, this poor guy.
Let me help
Yeah,
this guy.
he totally knew. He knew I was just.
He's like,
fucked.
Voltron, right? Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
I got you.
But
Right?
that is that's how people like that. He's a pro in his world.
Yep.
You fucking get to a place like that with 80,000 people, the Foo Fighters are about to play. If something goes wrong, you need an answer immediately.
Yeah, no, and I wasn't gonna be able to get it. My pedal board was shit. I definitely had my issues with guitar equipment. That was another thing too. Chasing money with that band, I really had a hard time keeping my head above water. So yeah, that was the craziest shit. But then hanging out afterwards at Reading and Leeds, and I go to walk over, and Brian Deneve and Josh, our bass player, they're standing in a circle of dudes, and I just walk over next to him, and it's fucking Dave Grohl and Taylor.
Yeah.
And I was just hi.
Yeah. He's like, hey man, you guys are awesome. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't say. I don't think he saw us, but but they definitely, there was no air about them. I met a lot of cool people that were that famous and no bullshit.
Well, I often wonder, I don't know who has the better life, Dave Grohl or Sammy Hagar. Those two guys are the happiest people ever. I feel individually, I feel like I could be at practice and Dave Grohl would knock on anyone's door and be like, yo, you guys mind if I sit in on this song and play drums to like whatever you guys like. He just seems like
he loves music.
He doesn't have a care in the world. It's like somebody needs a drummer. He has a week off of like touring.
Well, it's nice when the finances are set and you can creatively do anything you feel like doing. Make Probot 2.
I was about to say that Probot thing. Probot, perfect example. He just fucking financed everything. And
so overdue for a
sequel. Fucking good.
It's when you love Voivod, you fucking love Voivod.
There you go.
That's it. It started when I was 15, and it was an obsession. Even through their shitty albums, I was still fucking holding on.
What about
the
new record?
Love it.
Yeah.
The EP before it actually like a little bit more that post-society shit.
Okay.
That new guitar player they have is a gift from God. Like that dude. He looks like Piggy. He sounds like Piggy. He actually goes in a direction that Piggy probably didn't. I don't want to say couldn't, but this guy has shred. Okay. Piggy really wasn't much of a shredder, but Piggy had those fucking space ears. And this guy's got that, but he's got chops like a fucking shredder.
What is the best Voivod record?
For me?
Yeah.
It's Nothing Face. I know it's not like everybody will say War and Pain. I started at Nothing Face. This dude that I went to high school with, Tom Beauvais, hit me off with Nothing Face because we were always like into metal. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? No. And he's like, no, go back and listen to it again. And it was a weekend. And I went back and I listened to it again, and it bit me. And that's it. I didn't want to hear anything else. And that's when I got into, like, dissonance. I started bugging my dad, teach me all these fucking weird chords. My dad knew all these big, weird chords. Teach me this. I'm going to play these fuckers under distortion like Piggy.
So he was teaching you chords. Like, that's awesome. That's cool.
They were so unlike anyone else too, man.
No, my dad would hear I'd play him. He wasn't like a big fan of metal at all.
Right.
But I would play him like, Dad, what is this chord? And he's like, that's a 6/9 chord. You know, that's a minor 7 flat 5. And he would show me how to finger them. And I couldn't really play along to too many Voivod songs, but I could definitely write shit that sounded like Voivod.
Yeah.
So that's I'm sorry, that's you were talking about Probot, but that's the thing, like,
No, Probot. I mean, that record is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's amazingly written. It's just that to
nail
the essence of every person you're going to collaborate with.
He fucking wrote
the song with Kronos sounds like a goddamn Venom.
Yeah. The Motorhead song sounds like Motor.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
It's outstanding.
The guitar sounds on that album are nuts.
Insane.
Yeah.
Just huge.
But really clear too, which is crazy.
But just like everything about it. Yeah, a second one would be cool, but I don't think he would do metal. I think he would probably have to do something else.
I'd love to hear him explore any genre or in that vein and stuff. But there's just so many other early artists that
Tommy Lee writes books where he talks to his dick.
Yes,
that's his fame. Like he could do whatever. He's like basically, like he has the ability to do that from his fame. Dave Grohl has the ability to just make music and do cool shit. So it's like both levels of fame are probably the same, and one chooses to write
stick in it,
but. He is bringing back Methods of Mayhem, so I'm pretty excited about that.
That book, not to go back to that, but
speaking of 3 bass drums, because I think he used 3 bass drums in Methods of Mayhem.
I don't have the year it was written, but it must have been not long after that, because you can tell how hyped he is about this project he's got going on, and like how fucking great it is, and what evolving all these different kinds of music, and knowing how bad it fucking was, and he's so psyched about it.
You don't know until you try. And a lot of those guys, even like the Bret Michaels of the world, like they wrote Every Rose in like 1988 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And these guys still can't write something on that level 30, 40 years later, but they still have a career. Like they make this one thing. Even Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses are the biggest band in the world, and arguably they have one good album. How is that possible?
But
I mean, that's how good Appetite is. I guess
if you write that magical album and songs that resonate with people, maybe in their youth primarily and stuff like that, they could take that for their whole life, because they'll always want to recreate that moment. They'll play shows. People want to hear that song. They want to, you know what I mean? Like those.
But when you
even if it's a nostalgia,
but still, like one album in 1987 that did very well, and they could still, like through drug addiction, he kicked out everybody in the band. He waited 13, 14 years, 17 years to make Chinese Democracy.
That's the biography I want
They're
to
like
read.
the Donald. They're like the Donald Trump of hard rock. Like anything that they do to destroy their career doesn't matter. Their fan base is like, I want to hear Paradise City and I want to get wasted, and maybe somebody will show their titties.
That's it.
Maybe the drummer.
I was about to say, as long as it's not the dude from Knocked Loose, I'll look.
Wow. Man, you are definitely on somebody's hate list.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is, but
He's a big boy. Yeah. Big boy, this guy.
Yeah, big band.
Yeah.
So what was the parting like with From Autumn to Ashes? Like, you just kind of, like, it was just time?
yeah, like I just got, I really wasn't making a lot of money at all. And like, I started to look at my life right now, right there at that point, I was like 30, 31. And I started thinking like, you know what, I don't have a plan B. Like, and I was living in a basement apartment at my mom's house at the time. And I just like got sick of fucking eating ramen noodle every night. And I had no money for gear or anything like that. So yeah, when I left there, it was just like the tour. I got to do some sick shit with them. We got to go to Australia and Japan, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
for
it was
2
awesome.
years. Like,
Yeah.
what more?
Yeah.
Like, how many people could say that? How
Yeah.
many people could say that?
No. Yeah.
They shit their pants at Reading or
Yeah.
Leeds or wherever it was. So, I mean, I guess it was like an amicable thing. Like, I'm out.
It kind of was. Like, at that point, Fran had biology.
Yes.
And he really was, like,
Loved
pushing
it.
that. Yeah, he was, like, pushing for that. He really was getting into the art, too. He was doing, like, a graffiti thing, and he was, like, selling his art at shows. Like, FATA was really, like, not really, like, big on his list of priorities, and
all the members seem to have been dropping off.
Well,
From
yeah,
Scott
Ben,
to Mike.
Well, Ben, yeah, there was when we were writing that album, Abandon Your Friends, like that was, it was crazy, and he was starting to show cracks, like at that point, like I don't know if he just didn't want to do it anymore, but he really wasn't really contributing.
Was that why it was called Abandon Your Friends?
Well, it was called Abandon Your Friends, I think, because like Fran at that time and Josh, it was just like leaving. When you do this, when you pick this lifestyle, you need to abandon your friends at points. You gotta let
sure.
everybody go.
Yeah.
I don't think it had to do with like anybody in the band. And FATA was a really weird dynamic for me. Like, I love Brian Deneve to death, and like, he's an awesome dude, and he gave me a shot. But the dynamic in that band, I always tell people, it was like walking into a movie 20 minutes late. Like, I really, I don't think I ever really like caught on to what was going on underneath. There were things between band members that were going on well before I was in the band, and it just was really strange. And at the end, I don't think any of them really wanted to do it. And I was at that point, I was like, I gotta figure something out.
Sure.
I wanted to go home and regroup. And a lot of people were like, why'd you do that? That was a fucking stupid move.
Not really. It seemed to be like the best years were behind them.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking at that at that point. I just was so sick of
Get
starving.
your head together.
Yeah.
And by then, Hugo took over for Tension, right?
Yeah, he was over, but I was definitely not looking to get back at that point with those guys with that type of music. And I came home, and then the opportunity came for me to go to.
Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Jet Blackk started later then.
Yeah, I'll get to that as quickly as possible. But the opportunity came up for me to go to trucking school, like CDT over here, to get my CDL. Like, I always loved driving. I wanted to learn how to drive. Like, the biggest thing you could put me in, less than needing an engineer's license, I wanted to fucking drive it. So, like, I got my tractor trailer, tanker, hazmat endorsement, got all that stuff. Because you will always, if you have a CDL, you will always make
Have
money.
work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
No matter
People
where you
always. And yeah, and it's crazy. And like the amount of money I was making, not skilled, to like what I'm making now, like it's I can have a life now. Wow, was that a solitary clap?
No, I like it. I
I
mean,
don't have
like,
a mic stand. I would have clapped.
you basically, it's most people just leave tour and don't do anything. But like, if you could like parlay it, and like a CDL is a big thing.
Yeah,
That's
I needed to get
one
it.
hell of a career.
Yeah, and then like I got a job working for a local company that I didn't have to be like. A lot of these trucking companies wanted me to like go on a road for like 2 months at a time. I'm like, nah, not doing that. I found a local company hauling automotive freight that was based right out of Bohemia. The hours were pretty nuts. I was working like 60, 70 hours a week, but I was making money like for the first time in my life. And I was able to like start buying gear. I started to like be able to buy like, good guitars, good amps, like, started getting into fucking tube amps, like, really like started to like
nice.
focus on my sound. And at that time, like, me and Joe were always close, but we had conversations. We talked about kicking it around. I played in Dearly Departed for a little bit. I recorded, I forgot the name of the album I did with them, but I did one album with them, recorded with them. But that was another situation, like walking in 20 minutes late.
Sure.
Like, took a while. So me and Dave Musser, I'm very close with him, and like we would have a lot of conversations about like the heyday of rock and roll, like back, not metal, but hard rock. Before there was metal, there was this fucking ugly animal called hard rock.
Yeah.
That wasn't commercially acceptable. You had bands like the Sonics, The Attack, Blue Cheer, MC5, and I just fucking went deep. Like Deep Purple's first couple of albums.
Yeah.
Really just like didn't want to hear anything else for like 2 years, and me and Dave would just always talk about that kind of music. And Joe just wanted to jam with us. Joe definitely wanted to like play with us, and he was going to do whatever like we wanted to do because he just wanted to make music with us.
You guys are the nucleus.
Yeah, no, well, Joe too.
Yeah, the three of you.
Right, yeah, we are the nucleus, and it was amazing how fast Joe got it. Like, it was weird because like at first like Joe was like, he wasn't really kind of like feeling it. And then, like, he took a bunch of riffs that I had written and formulated them into this song, Blackmail for Beginners. And when he did that and he added all this, Joe wrote all the vocals and all the lyrics to Jett
know.
Blackk.
It's funny because, like, once he started doing the Ice Cold Killers, which blew me away, we try to shit on each other as much as possible. You know, he usually tells me that my band is his favorite of his least favorite bands. One day we actually made shirts, Playing Dead shirts, which we don't make merch, and Mariko, our bass player's wife, made them, and she made them red and orange, and he saw them and he's like, nice, mustard and ketchup. And I was just like, you know what? I'm like, you're right. I'm like, and we didn't make shirts ever again. I swear to God. To this day, I think he feels bad, but so he just always, like, even for Tension, right? He wrote like a lot of the lyrics.
He wrote a lot of lyrics.
He was like Nikki Sixx.
And then Mike later on in the later Tension stuff, Mike started really getting in with the lyrics too, and Mike wrote a lot of lyrics as well. But yeah, Joe, I would have when Case, like when things were going good for Case and he left for Helmet.
Yeah,
at one point I was 100% ready to do Jett Blackk as a 3-piece, and Joe did not want to do it. You know, he just wanted it. You know, I didn't care if we went more raw, more psychedelic, like heavier.
Yeah,
we totally could have.
You could have
totally 100% could have done a heavier version of Jett Blackk.
Basic, yeah. I mean, a 3-piece. What he was doing a 3-piece, but man, you know, it's just Dave Case is arguably the best singer on Long Island.
Yeah, he's an amazing singer. Never once touched auto-tune when we recorded with him. Never had to.
He's done harmonies for recordings that I've done. You know, and Keith would be recording, and he would go in, and he'd be like, "What do you need me to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just do like a harmony." And he would hit a harmony that would sound like, I don't know, Queen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that possible? Like he would just go in and do it, and he's like, "Oh, let me try it again." He would do it even better. So when, I would imagine it's just tough, you know. Like he probably was like, I can't sing like that, but like you said, it would be a different thing.
Yeah, it would have, and I would have been fine with wherever we went if it was, as long as it was me and Dave and Joe. You know, when I was happy for Case when everything happened with Helmet with him, like, and I don't shit on him for what he did because I did the same thing when I went FATA. Like Dave had the same exact thing happen from. Yeah, no, I get it.
Joe said the Helmet stole his band.
Yeah, well, I mean, Case also, like, he's a bass player, and that's what he wants to do, and that's fine. But the thing with Case was, like, he was just like, I'm going to try to do both. But he couldn't.
Sure.
He couldn't, and the band started to suffer. And at that point, I had met my wife, and, like, things were going really well with her. And I've always had, like, that parental instinct, that father thing. And, you know, I wanted to have kids, and she wanted to have kids, and you know, as Jett Blackk was kind of like winding down, you know, Dave had plans to move down to North Carolina, and you know, just, you know, things with my wife just were so awesome that I just went in that direction.
Yeah.
You know, but Jett Blackk was my favorite band I've ever been in. The shows, even though they weren't nowhere near as big as what I did with FATA, I am way more proud of what I did with Jett Blackk than any other band I've ever been in. Like, and you know, the camaraderie and the people that would come to our shows,
The outfits.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was another thing, too. That was another thing that we had planned out. Like, I wanted us all to wear suits and ties, but I understood that wasn't Joe and Dave's style.
Yeah.
But my thing was, like, ready, dressed to kill. It was this theory I had called Stolen Thunder, and it was like, we wanted to walk. We'd walk into a show, and it happened a couple of times. You'd walk into a show, and you'd hear the needle skip, and, like, everybody would turn around and look at us like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, well, we're going to fucking show you who the fuck we are. And I let the music speak for itself, and I loved it. And anything that Jet Blackk did, I was extremely proud of.
I just got to ask you, because Doc wants to know, ask him about the fuck this place incident.
Oh, my God. This is another fucking way back. This was tension. Do you guys know about the Crawdaddy incident?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it.
It was mass mayhem. The dude that owned the fucking bar.
Was this the Barstool thing?
This was the preamble to the Barstool.
Okay.
This was like right before the Barstool.
Okay.
This guy that ran the club, he made it clear that Grudge Holder could go fuck themselves, and he wasn't going to pay Grudge Holder.
Oh,
and
boy.
we were like, nah,
Yeah.
those are our brothers. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're not going to drag these guys out of fucking Massachusetts, Boston, have these guys come down, sleep on our fucking floors, which they did, with no problem. We were happy to have them.
Why, though? Why did he do that?
He just said he wasn't going to pay them, and he said whatever. I don't know. There was a discrepancy with what he was going to pay us. He agreed to pay something, no matter what it was. We were going to split it with Grudge Holder, but then it just was like, no, he wasn't going to give Grudge Holder, and he said, I'm not paying for any opening bands. I'll pay the fucking headliner, and that's it. So once that kind of got out, like the crowd fucking got angry, and it turned, and like they were just like fucking holding onto the disco ball and grabbing it down, and the place was lined in mirrors and had all these like railings, and Kyle was ripping out these fucking gold railings and like fucking javelin fucking Greco-Roman into the goddamn the mirrors. Yeah, but Doc kind of like set it off. Like he jumped up on stage and he was like, with his high-pitched kicked in the balls
Nice.
voice, fuck this place. Like, grabbed his dick and threw the fucking microphone down, and then it was just like
Mayhem.
the seas pour. I stepped back off the stage, just like, holy shit! It was just Janko jeans, chain wallets,
Nice.
Visors.
sweaty fucking skin-headed fucking wife beaters, and it was just mayhem. Everything was broken. Everything was fucking broken. Everything. This guy was trying to recoup money from us for years. Like, oh, I want my money back. Like, eat a dick, dude. Sorry.
Eat a dick.
I'm sorry.
What about and his book of the Zen of eye rubbing? I don't know.
This is like ghetto fireworks. We don't have money to go see fireworks. Doc would just sit there and like rub his eyes, like, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he'd really get into it. And I'm like, you have like a Zen of eye rubbing. Like, you're just like go into this meditative trance. He's like, it feels so good. So, yeah, that's what that means.
And the last one from Paul from Grudge Holder. Tell him I still want my vittles.
Vittles. Oh, I don't know. Might be an inside joke we had years ago. I don't remember, but I know we spent a lot of time up in Boston, so maybe it's a
fuck you, Paul.
A diner joke.
Mm-hmm.
Not fuck you. I love you, Paul.
No, we had him on. I love him. He's like
my favorite masshole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, between him and Billy.
Yeah, Billy.
Neck and neck. But yeah, we had him on when he made his movie. How cool was that, right?
Yeah, definitely cool.
Old 37.
Yeah.
So, and you guys are gonna do a reunion.
Yes,
in July.
reunion.
So how'd that come about?
Dave Horns called me up back in. We tried to do a reunion like 2 years ago, and Dave's taking care of his dad. His dad, is just pretty sick. So Dave wasn't able to make it.
Yep.
So Joe had to soldier on with Sweet and Low Tension. What's his name? Ken Heiss, who's amazing, and Ronnie Chanchuli, another sick drummer. But they wound up doing like a 1776 Tension type of thing.
Yep.
So we couldn't play that show. The reason why I didn't play that show was if Dave Horns, if it wasn't OG, and that's my thing with Tension now. If it's not OG, if it's not the four of us that started the band, I'm really not going to do it. So Dave called me up back in December. He's like, just hear me out, because he knew I was going to say no off the bat. He's like, just hear me out. He's like, look. He's like, 25th anniversary of our first like release is coming out, and my birthday falls on a Saturday this year. His birthday's July 13th. So he's like, what would you say to doing it? I said, well, before that, I have some preconditions before you even talk to Joe Rubino about this. I don't want to do 18 billion songs. I want to kind of like do a nice stripped down old school set. And Joe was totally down with it. You know, we talked about it for a while, and then Joe just got the ball rolling. Joe just booked the place, and we're going to do it. And, like, the feedback from everybody, you know, just getting messaged. I'm back on Facebook now, and people are messaging me. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I took a 3-year break from Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, we were sending each other music, and then he disappeared.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Royal Blood was the
man.
last thing he sent me.
Yeah.
Great band. Good band.
But, did you guys, I mean, not that you're going to tell me the set list, but did you, funny enough, I'm playing a show in Brooklyn July 13th.
Oh.
So you guys
You did that shit on purpose because you hate Joe.
But so how are you going to pick the set list? Like, I mean, do you have in your head?
We have been kicking it around. We know the songs that we love to play. We also know the songs that get the best crowd response. So
Cool.
You know, we've just been narrowing it down. If Joe had his way, we would do like fucking 3 sets that were like 90 minutes each, starting with our first demo and like chronologically like rush R25ing this whole thing.
An evening with tension.
An evening with tension.
Yeah, exactly. There's no evening with tension. No, nobody wants to like listen to that music for fucking longer than an hour. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do 12 or 13 songs. It'll probably
That's
get pushed to 14. We're doing that, and then, you know, like, we've been all kind of like writing material that sounds like shit that we should have wrote back in 96. And we've been writing riffs back and forth. So the idea is up there, and it might happen. We might do like an EP, like a 5-song EP
Why
of
not?
new songs.
Sick.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, if we can find out some way to do it over the internet where I don't have to go to band practice,
Yeah.
because I fucking hate band practice.
Yeah.
Fucking hate it. So
You're too good for practice.
no, I'm not good for practice. It's just that I just want to watch TV.
Yeah.
Like, I want to sit with my wife.
There's
and,
a
like,
lot of shit to watch.
I want to watch
these
Cobra
days.
Kai season 2, man.
Yeah.
That's why practice was canceled.
Atlanta was awesome.
I gotta start
gotta get
Atlanta,
that.
man.
Dude,
Me too.
Childish
That show is-
Gambino is like such a talented motherfucker.
Dude, that show, it's cool too because it's definitely like a lot about the music industry too. And
Yes.
it shows like this guy who's like goes from like, you know, like little hardcore little shows, like, you know, doing like rap shows for like 10 to 15 people to blowing the fuck up. And, you know, that's his cousin. So he's like managing his cousin, and it's
That's Hulu too, right?
no, it's
No.
on Hulu, but it's I think it's an
It's on
FX show
Prime.
or
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh, it might be FX.
yeah, it's on
Okay.
Hulu definitely. You can
Yeah.
watch both seasons.
That's
There's-
because that's what I've seen it on.
Okay.
But cool, man. Let's, you know, like I asked John to, before we get to our top 5, I asked him to do that exercise that I like doing, is picking 5 songs you would put on a playlist at 15, picking 5 songs you would put on a playlist at 25, and 5 songs that you would put on a playlist today. So,
Do you mind if I?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So let's get to this bad boy here.
I want to know what 15-year-old John would
Okay,
be.
I'm going to start at 5 and go up.
Yeah.
All right. So number 5 on that
Age 15.
tape that I would send to you be Skull Crusher from Overkill.
Okay.
Nice.
4 would be Right to Nothing from Prong.
Nice.
3 would be Trial by Fire from Testament because I was really
nice.
into that
I love that
neoclassical.
groove on that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the
Skolnick.
Skolnick's leads in the intro, like that haunting, like neoclassical shit.
Killed
Loved
it.
it. Could
he
not.
was so good
Yeah.
at that.
I wish that album was recorded better.
Yeah. Yeah,
New
yeah,
Order.
definitely. It was very thin.
So
yeah,
thin.
really thin. The drums are really, like, really thin.
Yeah.
2 was Behind the Crooked Cross from Slayer.
Nice.
I have an obsession with, and you can hear it in Jet Black too, with straight 4,
Yeah.
and that song, yeah, just for like the first 2 minutes of Crooked Cross, it's just a fucking mutity.
Same thing, huh?
It sounds so good. Like,
Lombardo rips that fucking
Oh,
song
yeah.
to the
Oh, my
fills on
God.
that song.
Yeah.
That's a Tom Mariah special, that opening.
Damn.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't even think he
The
holds any.
specialty.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And number 1, of course, was Pre-Ignition by Voivod. That's probably like on Nothing
Nice.
Face. That's their like grittiest, like avant-garde song
Cool.
on that album. So I was
I'm actually going to
feeling the shit
put
out
all
of it.
these on a playlist
Okay,
for
cool.
the episode.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to do a Spotify playlist of your 15 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, whenever we post the episode,
Mm.
it'll be linked up there.
Cool. Do you want to move ahead to
Yeah.
25? 25
A 25-year-old, man. 25-year-old.
99? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was 99 going into 2000. So we'll start at 5 is In Praise of Bacchus from Typo Negative. It's a dense fucking song. Love that album. Love October Rust. And
Yeah.
that song
Yeah,
was...
that's a heavy fucking
I,
deep album.
you could listen to that song, I don't know, 10 times, and you're going to hear something different. And Kenny, I love his guitar playing on that album. Above the Clouds by Gangstar is number 4.
So good.
That album's brilliant.
Wild Like Rock Stars Who Smash Guitars.
One of the best guest verses ever.
Yeah, Inspected Deck, man. Like how many times? Like how many times has that been like thrown into a song?
Oh, killed it.
No, and it just that weird that Japanese. Yeah, that I don't know. Kodo, is it called a Kodo?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, something Japanese as fuck. Shout out to DJ Premier, the only person I was ever starstruck when I met.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Understandable.
I was fucking. Well, I mean, it was by mistake. He was just in front of the bank on the phone.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I go?
I'm thinking like you're at a festival or a show or something.
No. I probably told the story, but like he was
the
just
Super Chunk show.
Yeah.
Dave was far gone. No, I was going into the bank in Queens, and he was on the phone, and I was just like, is that DJ Premier? And I just look at him, and he's on the phone. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna be like, hey man, I love your music or whatever, and just keep it moving. Because I remember what he said on Hard to Earn. No, what Guru said on Hard to Earn. So yeah, that's what I did. I'm like, fucking.
You probably should have looked in the eye and put the phone right up there, like we didn't want to fake calls. Like
he wasn't even on the phone.
When kids are sculling Girl Scout cookies, and I don't feel like being bothered when I go into CVS.
This fat guy's gonna talk to me. I feel like this fat guy's gonna talk to me, and I don't want to talk to him. Number 3.
Okay, so we're moving to number 3. It's not really a song, but we talked about Phantom 45 before. It was a mixtape. It was Phantom 45 Think Twice. Rich Capello actually gave it to me, and that was like the drum and bass album that changed my fucking world.
All right, so maybe this mix will have 14 songs.
Maybe just put like the first
find that.
first 10 minutes. You'll find it it's on YouTube.
No, it's gonna be Spotify because that's the playlist.
All right, well then you're gonna this one will only have 4 songs then. Number 2 is Rising Sun from Massive Attack. That album Mezzanine is unreal,
Perfection.
and there's
probably the best, I think,
of Massive Attack's album. Yeah. There's no
whole
way there.
Album, yeah, I would agree.
That album is genre defining. Like Portishead started basically making it big, but that album, there's so much shit on that album that is just groundbreaking.
And they're doing a tour behind that.
Yeah, they're playing Radio City. I think 2 nights. I want to say.
I don't know.
But I've been wanting to see them forever. I might go to that one.
Yeah,
Portishead was life changing.
Yep.
And I remember when I heard "Dummy," it just fucking blew my. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I saw them at the Hammerstein, and it was insane. Yeah, this is so cinematic. The Massive Attack too. It's just
Adrian
so
Utley. Yeah,
Adrian and Jeff, like they're just, and Beth, like those 3. It just blew my mind, and the only thing closest to that was Massive Attack.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything Tricky. I like Max and Quay and some of those records, but like nothing touched Portishead except for Mezzanine, which was close.
The only thing that sucks about those bands is the amount of shit they made.
Yeah.
I'm like waiting. I was waiting.
Well, Portishead will hold you out forever waiting for another album. Like that album that came out afterwards.
Third, I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, there was some good stuff on
different.
Well, because you wait 17 years or something to make a record, and it's not like
you can't go back.
You can't. Yeah, it's not going to be.
Yeah,
it sounded like Radiohead with Beth singing.
Yes. Yeah, there was.
It was disappointing. Yeah, very different. Yeah.
Number 1.
All right, number 1 is Aquarius from Boards of Canada.
Nice.
That was just that album. Music Has a Right to Children was another album that changed my life. Are you familiar or?
I've never really listened to them.
Yeah, no,
I think you would like them.
Yeah. It's the way I explain it to most people who haven't heard Boards of Canada. It's film strip rock. I don't know if you remember film strips from back like in the day and being in science class back in the. And it was always like a movie that was recorded like in the 70s and stuff. And this is just really, really good beats, but that type of like really smeary, like atmospheric, beautiful stuff. It just brings me back to like when I was a little kid. So
I never heard one of their albums, but I had like a Breeze Block set of that they did, that radio show from England where they get various people. They have the Beastie Boys on once, they have Bjork, they have them. And they'll play like a DJ set of whatever they feel like picking out. And it's really great, the one I heard of them.
Yeah, no, it's Boards of Canada definitely like informed what I was doing as Hurricane Angel, the electronic stuff
you were doing.
Yeah, the down tempo electronic. I have 2 songs up on SoundCloud.
Cool.
They were like newer stuff that I did with as underneath the moniker of Hurricane Angel, but
5 songs as a 34-year-old man.
I'm not 34.
I
I'm
know.
44.
Jesus Christ, come on! I'm trying to find.
That's okay.
Jeez, I'm trying to, you know.
I just had my 29th birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
For which time?
A lot.
34.
Nice. All right, so number 5 for now would be "You Ain't Going Nowhere" by Here Lies Man. Awesome band, really cool. Like, God, the riffs are really sick, like 70s type of Sabbath stuff, but they got like this Afro reggae thing going on, and it's just really, really cool music. Plus, it sounds like it was recorded in 1972 in somebody's shed. So it's really cool stuff.
Yo, the 70s fucking riffs are back.
Oh, big time, man.
Like Uncle Acid and like that whole, like, it's just like this wave of like.
Sure.
My bass player just went to go see them.
Yeah.
He said it was fucking unreal.
It's like Master of Realityville.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, like all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's right up my alley. I love that type of stuff. Riff. I am a riff guy.
Riff guy.
Yeah, I need a riff. Number 4 is Little Black Submarines by Black Keys. I think that's a really well-written song. It just...
Why do we... I feel like you, me, maybe Julie, D, are the only ones that defend the Black Keys. They write great songs, and that song... That's probably my favorite Black Keys album.
And El Camino is brilliant.
It's fucking great.
But they're not consistent with like the quality of their albums. Like, I did not like the one that came out before El Camino that much.
Okay.
It was Brothers.
Yeah.
And then the one with Turn Blue that was on Turn Blue, I think, was the one that came out after that.
So there was, Strange Times record.
Yeah, Magic Potion, Rubber Factory, those were awesome. Like, these guys have been at that type of thing
for a while.
Since 2000, like before that. Like, I always tell people, too, I credit Black Keys with saving rock and roll and fucking killing it at the same time, too, because everybody sounds like Dan Auerbach now. Whether you're in a pop band, whether you're in a rock band, his voice.
Yeah, his voice is amazing. He's right, great, and also the production that he uses on his vocals. Yep. It sounds like a fucking piece of vinyl.
Yes, and that's Rubber Factory and Magic Potion are awesome albums. But that song blew me away when I heard that. I'm like, you can take a Tom Petty riff, rip it off, and still make it beautiful and do something really, really cool with it. And it's just
had a bit of Zeppelin in there too, like in the breakdown.
Absolutely, and you can hear some Beatles too in his in the solos, like how he did like that George Harrison thing where the guitars are slightly off a little bit. Like,
it's a great. I can't.
El Camino's great. Did you hear the 2 new songs they just dropped?
I love them.
Yeah, I like them too. Eagle Birds and I forgot the other one too, High Low or something like that.
I don't remember the names, but I heard one.
Yeah, they're awesome. So. They're good, and I'm hoping to God that this album is in the vein of El Camino. Good songs, pop songs that could have been out in 1972.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do with Jet Black. Like, write a song that could have sounded like a pop song in the 70s, because I love that formula. I know it's played to death, and a lot of people aren't into it. That just scratches my itch, though. That's
all that matters. If you're writing music, you got to scratch your own itch, man. That's it.
Yep. So number 3 is "Boomerang Baby" by Claypool, Lennon, Delirium.
How good is that?
Yeah.
I haven't heard it. I know what it is, but I haven't heard it.
It's another album. It's another Primus type thing where, like, you may not love every song they do, but the songs that they do that you do like, you really fucking like them. And he sounds.
I think it's the best thing outside of Primus that for Claypool for me. I mean, he's done how many fucking bands has that guy been in on the side and stuff? But God, it works so much. Like that album that just came out, it's amazing. I see they're touring with Flaming Lips too,
with Flaming Lips and Slayer.
Yeah,
they're doing the last Slayer tour.
The Primus was Slayer, but
you're right. Yeah.
It's a great album though. It's really interesting.
Yeah, this is not off the new one. This is off Monolith of Phobos, which was out before that.
Right.
But here's the thing, like Tame Impala came out, and that guy sounds a lot like John Lennon when he was doing the rock thing before he did the electro
thing before the electro stuff.
Right. And I respect what he did, what Tame Impala did, because you know what? You can only write that. The 70s only lasted so long. You can only write
10 years, I think.
Really?
Was that how long
Seems
it was?
Seems like longer.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like now all up, and like I think what happened with Tame Impala was he probably just got sick of like writing that type of music, but those 2 albums, Inner Speaker and Lonerism, are awesome. And it's just funny because, like, Sean Lennon sounds like the old man, and he looks like him, and he can really sound like the old man when he wants to, and he does it. He digs in real hard on his, on what his father started.
Right.
So that's why I really like Claypool Lennon, but I don't like every song they did.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then my top two are actually, I kind of cheated. They're both by the same band, but it's a band I love, the Black Angels.
Oh my God!
Nice.
Yeah, just
they're so
psychedelic.
Good.
It's like Jefferson Airplane meets The Doors meets Brian Jonestown Massacre, and like that guitarist Christian Bland. Like you look at him play, and he really like his technique is really weird, and you don't think this guy's going to be able to get these sounds, but he writes killer fucking riffs.
To this day, Telephone is one of the catchiest songs that, like...
Dude, my two little kids, my 5 and my 7-year-old, I play that song for them, and they love it.
It's so
they
good.
know that song. Like,
it's so familiar because of the way it is, but it's just, it's its own thing. And then, like, later on, like, I guess the record after, Super Psych, like, a lot of
Evil
psychedelic...
Things, Blue Meadow. Yeah, those two songs are actually... Well, actually, Evil Things is my number 2, which is like a Zeppelin riff from fucking hell.
Yeah.
And the scream and the outro riff is unreal.
Yep.
Like just that driving and the bass, like 50 feet of distortion on that bass driving it out, which is nuts.
Yeah, everything they make, I love. It's got the drive, and it's also got that ethereal kind of feeds that shoegaze that that I love.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's over the top of it, but
I never thought of it, but there is definitely a shoegaze.
Oh, absolutely, totally. Them and like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
But it's got like it's not just so dreamy or whatever. It's got a fucking
no. They have more
shoegaze.
shoegaze. Black Rebel has more blues.
Right.
Yes.
Goth blues, but like Black Angels, they fucking they're on acid.
Everything
for
they
sure.
put out, I love.
The Black Angels definitely feels like a bad acid trip. It reminds me of the one time I did acid, I had a bad trip, and like, I learned a lot. But
we kind of glossed over his mushroom incident.
Yes. Yeah, mushrooms are different than acid.
Oh,
acid
totally.
mushroom, 2 different planets.
Even mescaline's different.
Never did mesc.
I did.
Yeah, no, people like it. Yeah.
I got some. We'll do after the show. We'll do some.
All right, cool. I'll just drive home.
To Shirley.
Just drive home to
You might end up the other way.
Space trucking, man.
That's it.
What's the number 1?
Number 1 is Life Song from Black Angels, which is on the new album, which is like their space opera epic, which is beautiful. Like it's just, I love anything about space. Songs about space, rock songs about space. You got me.
Yeah.
Into the Void. I have a Black Sabbath Into the Void tattoo.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am obsessed with the crossing of my 2 favorite genres. So,
what about the movie The Void?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I heard it's awesome.
Great movie.
So good.
It's a great movie.
Is it a space movie?
No. Yo, don't erase that. Text me that so I have the song titled.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a great movie. It's just one of those polarizing movies that some people loved and some people hated. But it was a combination of Assault on Precinct 13, Hellraiser, The Beyond, and The Thing.
Yeah, practical effects.
Yeah.
You can't go. That's why I'm not a big horror guy, but I'm a huge sci-fi guy. Like anything from like '66 on to now. Like I fucking love sci-fi.
Today is the 40th.
Well, today was National Alien Day too. So
nice.
Big sci-fi day.
Yeah, 40 years of the movie Alien.
There's been a ton of stuff on YouTube too. All these like small little films and stuff, which is cool. They did that with Blade Runner too, which was awesome. The newer Blade Runner.
Did you like the new Blade Runner?
I loved it.
Really?
I thought it was good.
I feel like
I still prefer the original.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, I
tough
loved
to
it.
Take that on,
Yeah, but and what's his face? Batista played that guy Sapper Morton in the beginning. He was that replicant that Kay was taken down. There's actually on YouTube, there's other side films that kind of take you from Decker's era to 2049, and one of them's a really good story, and it shows you that guy Sapper's like backstory, and it's awesome. So, I mean, I know a lot of people aren't into it. I really liked it. I thought the soundtrack was awesome. I loved how abrasive and ugly and beautiful it was. That movie got me, like, sound-wise, too.
What are your top 3 favorite sci-fi movies of that era, I guess?
The new stuff, or
just in general? Give me your 3 favorite sci-fi movies.
So I don't leave anything out.
This wasn't in the homework.
Yeah.
I fucking hope Tron is in there.
The new me and my son just watched the new one the other day.
I did too for the first time.
I didn't mind it.
It wasn't bad.
I didn't mind it. I'm a sucker for the original though too.
No, it's awesome, and I like the way they kind of like paid homage to Tron, and Tron actually saving the day.
The bikes made more smooth turns.
Yes,
I wanted.
Yeah, you need 90-degree angles, and if you're in a tricycle,
big problem with
Who was that? Olivia Wilde? That chick was hot.
Yes, she's a very attractive woman.
Yeah.
My top 3, or you want my top 5?
Oh, give me your top 5 movies.
All right, top 5 is we got The Road Warrior.
Nice.
At 5, Rollerball at number 4.
Ooh, nice.
Which
Jimmy Caan.
Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy Caan, Jonathan E. I used to get myself psyched out at the end. My name's Jonathan, and at the end it'd be screaming, Jonathan, Jonathan. Whenever I need some courage, I just picture that in my head as he's like, at the ending of Rollerball, where like he just kills everyone on the track. It's brilliant.
Spoiler alert.
We're going to see if we can reenact that for the Tension reunion. We'll just start fucking cheering your name.
I want everybody to wear roller skates.
Okay,
I'm
we
going to
could
drive
do
the
that.
motorcycle.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, you're going to go behind me. I'm going to get you a spiked helmet.
We could do that.
All right. So, yeah, we got that. It was after that. Now, my third is a tie between 2001 and THX 1138.
Okay.
2001's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
THX 1138 catches a lot of shit from people, but that was a groundbreaking movie.
I never saw that.
I never saw.
I know the
and I was
cover.
always meaning to because
I know the cover, like,
138,
yeah,
like a
but
bad Misfits
I've never.
fan. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome movie. It's definitely, all those sci-fi movies at that period. There was, whoever escaped the fucking nuclear war went underground, and they built this city, and the way that they controlled everybody was drugs. And this one dude just decided to stop taking his pills one day.
Oh, I'm sold. That's it. It's
The
like
robot.
It's like DEFCON 4, baby.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
Or Logan's Run. That's why my
Yeah.
son's name is Logan.
There you go.
Oh shit.
Horrible movie, awesome book, but I got exposed to sci-fi at a real young age. My father, he had no problem with me being 5 years old and watching these movies because he loved them so much. So that's what kind of like got me into it. I try to do it with my son. He gets scared at certain things, so I don't do it too much. But my wife definitely gives me the stink eye when I'm like, I want to show him Ready Player One, and she's like, "This is Shining and Chucky in that movie. He's gonna be scared." I'm like, she's like, "Fine, you want to deal with him in the middle of the night?" So yeah, number two. Speaking of, The Shining is definitely my number two, and then number one we got good old New Hope, man. That's that movie. That's the first movie I saw in the movie theater.
There you
I
go.
was 4 years old. My mom took me to Shirley Twin. It was like
77.
summer '77.
Year I was born.
Wow.
That was a golden summer, man. It was Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and New Hope came out that year. Like that's one of those years, like '99, where like it just.
That was like the year of Spielberg and Lucas killing it.
Yes, Jaws was 75 actually.
Oh, was 75? Yeah. I'm sorry. All right. So
I just want to make sure.
I'm not a big Jaws fan, so I know I'm gonna get shit from that too. But I'm not really like I think it's an awesome movie, but it's just not like something. I'm not really drawn to to it.
I'm going to ask everyone, what do you think of The Last Jedi? I loved it.
I was just going to say that.
The Last Jedi, you loved it. I didn't. I liked Force Awakens a lot
because it was.
There's so many. We were chasing so many fucking red herrings in The Last Jedi. The way that what they did with Rey's parents, that really fucking pissed me off, and I'm hoping they do something to rectify that in this next movie. There was just some shit. The whole thing with Leia and the whole like Bollywood thing where she's floating through space. And
all right, well, that was ridiculous. Back. That and the casino were just unnecessary.
Yeah, and I love me some BB-8. Don't get me wrong, but that was just really like over the top. So no, I didn't really like that much. I thought Rogue One was brilliant.
That's why I didn't see it.
I like that.
Rogue One, that was good.
Everyone says that it's great. I just didn't.
It's a good old fashioned fucking war movie, man. It's a buddy like. Dirty Dozen, fucking, let's get this cast of ragtag motherfuckers, and
it led up to A New Hope.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome about the end of. I don't know, spoiler alert, but it dovetails right to the
literally
fucking
leads. Yeah.
Literally, it overlaps
like
cinematically.
the thing prequel.
the same thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, because like some people thought it was a remake, but it wasn't. It was a prequel.
Yeah,
literally up to the dogs
up to the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I thought Rogue One was great. I got a lot of hope for this Rise of the Skywalker movie. Like, I'm really hoping it's going to be good. And then there's so much cool, like, Jon Favreau's doing that Mandalorian show, which is going to be sick. I just found out that from Rogue One, they're going to do a backstory series about how K2SO and Cassian met. K2SO is the best. He's awesome. So. Yeah.
So this is exactly why you can't practice. There's a lot of shit going on. You need to stay on top of all this stuff.
You can't get a doctor's note for watching.
No, exactly. Tell Joe Rubino that.
Fucking TVs for fucking sissies.
Joe Rubino will watch the shit out of some Star Wars, though. Anytime I go see a new Star Wars movie, I go with Joe.
Nice.
Yeah.
He just wants the popcorn. Big gorilla hands.
The hole in the bucket at the bottom of the popcorn.
Nice.
All right. So we're going to close up with our top 5 favorite movie, Bullies. We did this on Facebook where we have a Facebook group that's pretty active called Red River podcast. We talk a lot of shit. I picked 16 Bullies. What ended up winning? Oh, Biff Tannen was voted number one.
Shit, yeah, he's on my list.
It's hard to argue with that.
It is hard to argue. He's not on my list. I left
He's not
him
on
off.
mine either.
But all right, let's do number 5. Langan.
Number 5 for me was Melvin Moody from 1980s My Bodyguard.
Oh yeah. Chris Makepeace was in that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't see it. And it was one of those movies like when cable came out. It was always seemed to be on like on Saturday.
Chris
afternoon.
Makepeace had a good time there. He had that other movie with Lee Majors.
Absolutely,
that
and
science
shout out to
fiction movie.
Meatballs too.
Yeah, Meatballs. Yep.
Yeah.
Was he in that too?
Yeah, he was Bill Murray's the little dude.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember his name in the film, but it's Matt Dillon plays the bully, young punk Matt Dillon, and
they got that other big dude that helps him.
yes, who looks like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes,
but
he
I
does.
Can't remember
But
his
it's
name.
not. But it's not Vincent
But it's
D'Onofrio.
not him.
Yes.
But I want it to be him.
Yes.
But just a great '80s bully film where. I encourage anyone to see it because it's a great story and stuff. But Matt Dillon plays a real turd and picks on a kid. A kid finds another outcast, a bigger kid to protect him, and Matt Dillon finds a bigger kid. Some fighting going on, some lessons learned.
Yes,
but
little
highly
wiser for the
recommend
wearer.
it. A lot of people slept on that film, and it's still good.
All the old people in the group wondered why I didn't use him. I was like, sorry, man. Number 5. All right, number 5 for John.
Number 5 for me is Gary and Ian in Weird Science.
Nice.
Oh, good one.
Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Hiding. Yeah, those guys are pricks. They got what was coming to them.
They did.
They did. Number 5.
Which
was on yesterday.
Was it?
It's still on. It's still like
such a great movie.
Yep.
So this guy was just trying to fucking do his job, but he was definitely a fucking ball buster. And it's Gunnery Sergeant Hartman for Full Metal Jacket.
Yep.
Oh man.
So this guy was such a fucking bully that he fucking pushed the guy to fucking. Well, he got killed.
Speaking of D'Onofrio.
Speaking of D'Onofrio, the fucking
Yeah.
guy killed him, and then he fucking put the gun in his own mouth. But holy shit, what a fucking ball breaker, in fucking boot camp. And and I could never look at the guy the same way. And then he pops up out of nowhere in the fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, recent movie as a fucking cop, and he's a fucking prick in that too. So there you go.
I met that guy at a horror convention once.
Did you?
And they did a panel and stuff.
That's
Yeah, it was
awesome.
when that film came out, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He's so like.
Yeah.
Fucking
He
R. Lee
commands the
Emery.
room.
Yeah.
When that guy's mouth opened up, everyone shut the fuck
Listen,
up.
that's a classic scene.
Yeah.
You put on Full Metal Jacket, and he's roasting dudes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he's like.
And when you know the background too, that he's not an actor.
No, that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's him.
I bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Like everything he says is just like holy shit.
I mean, when they graduate, the movie almost gets boring.
It's
it
two
definitely,
films.
It's
it
two
definitely
different
is.
movies.
It,
Two
it
films,
is.
and I
Yeah.
don't really care for the second.
Law-abiding
Yeah.
citizen. That movie with what's his face?
Gerard Butler.
Right. Yeah. That movie could have been 20 minutes long. It could have been just to the point where he gets arrested because it was brilliant.
Yeah.
The revenge. It was an awesome revenge movie. And then after that, it's like, oh, now we got to sit through law class.
Or From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes. Same
You're
thing.
Like, whoa, what am I watching
Yup.
now? Like a splatter movie now.
Yep.
For me, I would have picked one of the people from the movie Bad Boys. I just don't remember his name.
Viking, man.
Huh?
Were you talking about the main guy? I jotted that down here.
I
There was
did too.
Viking,
I did
Fucking,
too.
who was the dude that Sean Penn
Yes.
hit with the Coke cans in the pillowcase. Love that movie.
Fucking underrated.
Clancy Brown. Was his real
Clancy
name.
Brown.
Yes.
That's right. That's it.
He was on The Walking Dead briefly.
He was in a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with number 5, a character whose name I don't remember, but it was just so cool. The movie is Welcome to the Dollhouse. Todd Solondz.
Yes.
Yeah.
This girl, Wiener Dog was the main character, and she was being tortured by this young girl. And there's the bathroom scene where, Heather Matarazzo, who's Wiener Dog, goes to use the bathroom to shit. And this girl, like, she walks in and she's about to walk out. And I guess the other bully is the guy that this girl likes, and it's like a jealousy thing, and so she's torturing poor Wiener Dog, and she's like, "You're not leaving this bathroom till you shit." And Todd Solondz has this. He did Welcome to the Dollhouse and Happiness. And he is just he's like a more put together Harmony Korine. Like, it's just like
Happiness is like one of those films that I know is great, but I don't think I want to ever see it again.
You know what it is? You have a son.
A lot of movies like that.
You have a son.
Yeah.
And it's just basically
So
one and done.
horrible.
One and done.
It's just.
But I respect it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just don't need to see
fearless.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girl that's terrorizing Wiener Dog and Welcome to the Dollhouse, number 5 bully for me.
I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, I want to watch you shit. All right, 4 Langan.
Nelson Muntz from The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Ha it's an iconic line. It's famous. It's like Fonzie's "Hey," but
Yeah.
what can I say? The guy's a textbook bully. It's perfect. And he comes from the shitty home and stuff. One of my favorite episodes involving him was when he got into going to Bart's house because he loved being with Marge.
Yeah.
Because he had no mom at home.
Mm-hmm.
Not to get serious, but no, he's great. Perfect.
Fantastic. Number 4, John.
Let's see what we got here. I got Biff and Back to the Future. That was my 4. Great bully.
Somebody broke it down, and why he won in the group. We have like 850 members, so everyone votes, and I think it was John Berg from fucking the band Contra and a bunch of shit. He's multi-generational bully.
Yeah, he's time travel.
Kept
I'm
it
like,
real.
yeah, you.
For real.
There was no redemption. Like and then somebody was like, and he tried to rape someone.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm like, man, you're fucking like, okay, I get it. That's it. He's the one. So Biff Tannen.
Damn hands off.
You're my density.
I fucking love me some
Biff Tannen.
No, not Biff Tannen.
Christian.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
Oh
Oof.
God, he's great.
American Gods, man.
That's amazing.
Number 4, Parker.
All right, so number 4, somebody in the group was talking about sneaking into a movie theater or something recently, and my number 4 guy, I actually snuck into the Lindenhurst movie theater, which I laugh at now because I think the movie was like $3. Why I snuck in anyway, but I also snuck in a 6-pack, so that also helped.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is from one of my fucking favorite movies of all time, and his name is Mike Dexter, and the movie's Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, good one. You pulled that one out.
Yeah. So
I love
that movie was $3. That was like
yeah. Well, I mean,
98?
it was like I think it was like 2000 they showed it finally.
This
I think
guy's-
Lindenhurst fine. They were a couple years behind.
Parker was like, I love movies, but I'm not paying $3.
Yeah, I was like $3.
drawing the line
It's a
there.
little,
How much was parking?
I gotta say, parking would have been $1. Shout out to Chris Nolte who fucking brought that up the other night.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
But Mike Dexter. I mean, let's be honest. He was married to fucking Kelly from 90210. So really, who got the last laugh?
True.
Probably not him. I mean,
That's a good film. That's a good film, though.
It is a great film.
Yeah.
And
Great teen
that's
comedy.
when Jenna Elfman was the hottest girl
Yes.
on TV.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I think we've had that conversation.
Yeah,
about it.
and you know what? That scene where she was like, she had the angel wings. Like, it was so ridiculous, but it made sense. It was almost like this like sci-fi version. Like, I don't know. It was just like this weird random thing,
Right,
symbolic, and they just crowbarred it in there.
Yeah.
And it just made sense. And then fucking who's that? The main character, the main actor.
Fucking dude from Stand By
Remember
Me.
his name?
No, not Stand By Me. Fucking
Fucking
Nick Papagiorgio.
yeah.
I forgot his. He lost.
He
all
was
his
from
hair.
Stand By Me, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't.
I don't know.
I don't
Might
think
have to
so.
look.
Ethan Embry.
There we go.
Yes.
He was in The Thing You Do and Empire Records.
And he was in a horror movie a couple of years ago that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good, where
he was in
played a-
yes.
Cheap Thrills
Yes.
and then Vacancy.
Yeah.
He was in The Guest for like 2 minutes.
The one where he played.
Yeah,
He played an
No
artist.
wonder I don't ever get you. You're like talking.
He played an artist.
Yeah, no,
like
yeah.
Oh,
what the
okay,
hell
yeah.
was it? Like maybe 2 years old.
It was like a fucking heavy metal horror movie.
Yeah.
The skin or the devil.
Yes.
Devil's
Teeth.
Den.
This is going though.
Anyway, this is going on.
He was in that movie though.
Yeah.
Don't make me edit this whole part out. My number 4 is. Jeez, how do I not remember? Okay, yeah, number 4 is Jett from Weird Science.
Oh, there you go.
Because
Paxton.
Paxton. One day we're gonna have to do an episode on just Bill Paxton's
Dude, let's do it.
movies.
Do it right after this. Double show. I'll throw in a pot of
the rest
coffee.
of the night, man?
Bill, he's gonna be tripping out on mezcal.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton's filmography. We say it to every guest. Kurt Russell,
Yes.
John Cusack, and Bill Paxton have the best filmographies.
John Cusack movies. I love them.
They have the smallest amount of clunkers.
Yeah.
Amongst those three are in the best movies ever. So Jett was just great. He was just he was just such a douche. He was perfect. He was
still quote Jett all the time. All these years later.
I just love that Facebook has the gif of him being fat and
whatever is that thing?
Whatever she turned him into. It's just great.
It's like a pile of shit, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
With the crew cut.
The fly.
Fucking blistering pustules.
My favorite scene is when he throws the fucking 2 eggs against the ceiling and he goes, "Now make yourself one dickweed."
Yeah, what an asshole.
The whole scene where he busts them coming home.
Oh, it's so great.
He knows they're hungover.
He pukes, you die.
Yeah.
Are those my grandparents?
You realize it's snowing in my room?
Number 3, Langan.
Roy Stalin from Better Off Dead.
Nice.
Yeah.
The K-12.
Different kind of bully, because I
Lane
don't believe
Meyer.
he actually physically fought John Cusack, but he did fuck his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
Yeah, that movie.
He beat the pussy up.
He beat him with a ski race, you know what I
There you
mean?
go.
But I mean, he was such a fucking asshole. I mean, oozed 80s asshole.
Oh, yeah.
So legendary that there's a South Park episode, kind of really based around that, where they have to do a ski race or whatever against some guy, some bully dude or whatever. But
it's always a ski race in the 80s.
Yeah.
yeah, to save something.
Nah.
There's always some kind of event to save some kind of building.
Yeah, or the mountain, ski patrol.
YMCA or some kind of break-in or whatever. It's always some shit like that, and they always got it done. But anyway, he's just total prick.
Yep.
Number 3, John.
For me, what are 3? I had O'Banion or Darla in Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
Yeah, Parker Posey, just air raid freshman hearts.
There you go.
Absolutely.
She's awesome. And was that Bennett? That's Ben Affleck as O'Banion.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, who the fuck gets off on spanking the shit out of a dude with a bat, like a cricket bat or whatever it was?
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
It's just so great. Fuck you.
So
and then the black
creepy.
dude Melvin had the soul pole.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, one of the best movies ever.
Great movie.
That had nothing to do. It's we mention it because it's a movie that almost is about nothing except a night, and the only thing about it that was memorable are the characters. The characters were just so good. What happened in the movie?
That's
really,
how Linklater works. Though he just
works
he
magic.
doesn't need all the
great.
shit other people need. It's
He's
just
great.
a day or a night in the life of, and it could be anywhere. It could be any time
Or 12
period.
years in the
It could
life
be
of somebody.
anything. Yeah.
That other
Boyhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boyhood he did.
Another great.
That
film.
was such a cool concept.
Amazing.
Yeah, I didn't really particularly care for the ending. I thought it was kind of it just kind of, what the hell is this? There was no real defined ending, but that's kind of the way life is. There's no really ins and outs.
Exactly.
There's just memories, and that's basically what it was this dude's memories that stick out. You don't remember all your 12 years, but 12 years of memory, but you have those points where they're really memorable and they stick out. That's Dazed and Confused too. Everybody has one night like that in their life.
No question. Yep. No matter what generation, no matter
Yeah.
how old you are.
Yep. Everybody can have that one night that's just so fucking crazy that you remember it every minute for minute. You know?
Like Doc said. Cool. Parker, number 3.
Peter Stegman, class of 1984.
Oh man.
Nice.
Another classic
Good one.
sci-fi.
Great movie.
That
Is
was-
it sci-fi? Is it
Well,
horror? I don't know how to.
Class of
It's
80.
both.
Yeah.
Class of 84 came out before 1984, so
Yeah.
it was a one of those weird quasi-futuristic
Yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
they were doing in the 80s.
That was a school one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Fox.
Well, because we
Roddy
watched
McDowell, right?
Yeah.
Is he the
Yes.
teacher?
Alice Cooper
Great
does the.
song. I love that Alice.
your
Cooper song,
first
actually.
your first horror hangs. That's what we watched.
Was that? It was the
Your
first
first
one,
horror hangs when you lived in Mineola. The first movie we watched was Near Dark,
Nice.
and then that was the second movie we watched, Class of 84.
Good double feature right there. That's awesome.
And then usually by the third one, everyone leaves.
Yeah, normally.
I mean,
Except Joe Hess.
Well, yeah, Joe Hess.
Joe Hess.
I'm rambling.
Yeah.
I'm rambling. So, God, why can't I memorize my stuff. I got to chop this up now. Oh, yeah. All right. So number 3, we just showed 3 O'Clock High at Bolton. Thank you. It was our least attended one out of all of them. Shout out to all you guys.
Great film.
But you know what? We did Midnight Madness and we did 3 O'Clock High, and I knew those were going to be the 2 that were the least known.
Yeah, dude, that's digging in a vault. Midnight Madness. I talk to people a lot about that movie. No one remembers.
No one remembers
it. Was a fucking scavenger hunt, like college kids, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just knew, but I wanted to like crowbar them in there because we have The Burbs, we have My Blue Heaven next month.
Oh, great movie.
We have what do we have?
If you mention Midnight Madness,
One Crazy
and
Summer,
the person doesn't say faggot beefy,
then you don't even bother.
Then it's over.
If you say
over.
yo, I'm telling you, I watched it. My girlfriend is 8 years younger than me. You would have thought I was a special needs person laughing at everything. And after the movie, I was like, that was so good. She's like, that was terrible. And I'm like, but Faggot Beefy is so funny. And it was just like, she is just like, but why? It was like that scene in The Wedding Singer where fucking like Adam Sandler's like, her name's going to be Julia Gulia. That's funny. And he's like, why? And he's like, I don't know. That's what it was like. I'm like laughing. I'm like, Faggot Beefy. It's fucking hilarious. I don't know. I guess maybe you needed to grow up watching it or something.
Yes.
So anyway, we showed 3 O'Clock High, and Buddy Revell, even though he got his ass kicked in the ending, he did a lot of stuff, man. He broke the guy's nose in the fucking library.
Moments there.
He roughed up Jerry.
He knocked out the security guard.
Yeah.
He was like a Michael Hutchins on steroids.
Nice.
He had that look.
He was.
That weird Ishkabibble type
He
of
had such a good,
Ishkabibble
look. And
fucking word of the day.
He really did. He looked like He-Man when he wasn't He-Man.
Yeah.
He looked like 35, too. Like watching the movie the other night, I'm like, wow.
He looked like our age now. I'm like, is this college? Like, it wasn't.
It had to be college because they sold books at the bookstore.
Maybe that.
If you were in high school and they're like, you got to buy your books. I mean, what the fuck?
Okay, you know what? That makes a little bit more sense now. I mean, sure, everyone looked. Yo, he rolled up looking old. He looked like fucking. Like Sam Elliott or some shit. Like, completely. Yeah. The goth girl was funny. Just revisiting that movie was just so great, man. Casey Siemaszko did such a great job.
Film too. Which is the way it's shot. The Tangerine Dream soundtrack makes it, and it's different looking than all those other.
Great shots, great direction.
Comedies,
the guy with the beret that was excited.
I love that guy.
So
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
I knew you were solid.
You guys are making so many references that I keep wanting to jump in, but I don't want to hold anything up. But
please.
So that whole Tangerine Dream thing, that's just that's amazing.
They were so good.
But that new there was an episode. I don't know if you guys are up on Black Mirror, but they did that Black Mirror choose your own thing.
Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch.
I didn't watch it,
Tangerine
but I
Dream
love
was
Black
like
Mirror.
big. Black Mirror.
You could
unbelievable.
you could pick a song, right? And it's
not a song. You pick what the character is going to do.
But okay, no, I know that. But like, what kind of cereal or if
it starts out with little things like that, but then you're helping them make bigger decisions. But
so crazy.
Did you guys see it all? Or no?
I didn't see Bandersnatch.
Yeah, watch. I would say watch. If you like Black Mirror, I think Black Mirror is beautiful. It's awesome.
San Junipero is probably the best hour of TV.
Callister. I'm a big Star Trek guy, so Callister fucking did it for me. Like
with Meth Damon.
That guy was in he was in
Breaking
Fargo.
Bad.
Well, the best season of Fargo, which was like the second. He played like I forgot her name. He played like the main actor's like dumb husband.
Okay.
So he was definitely like in a different role when he did Callister on Black Mirror. But yeah, Black Mirror is awesome.
That season was great. Completely.
I think all of them.
Hang the DJ was on there. But yeah, he's married to Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, okay. So they are married in real life.
Yeah,
That's Kirsten Dunst, who I was trying to think of before.
Okay.
She was in that second series of Fargo, which was the best out of all of them. The thing I love about Black Mirror is like you're watching an episode of Black Mirror, and then at the end you're like, I was fucking rooting for the bad guy the whole time. Oh shit, I'm a morally corrupt asshole. Like,
just there's some really
crocodile episode.
Yeah.
The entire History of You is my favorite, where the guy finds out his wife's cheating on him through the apparatus in the eyes. Like, holy.
I heard it. Yeah, I gotta fucking watch that.
There's so many
or 3 seasons.
But there's short seasons. Some seasons only have like
6.
4, 5, 6 episodes. Yeah. The new season, you're right, was awesome. Like it was so good. There was one episode I won't watch on there because I have kids. It's that Guardian
Molester
Angel one.
No, Archangel.
Archangel. I didn't watch it because I just feel like there are certain things now. My wife says it too. Like we can't watch horror movies now too much because
you know what? Actually, my friend Dave, who just texted me, Dave Casal, shout out, Longwood.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like since he had a daughter, he's like, I can't watch certain things. He's like, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Anything with kids getting hurt, it's just.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
To take.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's tough because you picture your own children in situations like that, and you just like, I would fucking tear the world open if that happened. You know,
Yeah.
So
that's why you should watch The Act. All right, what are we up to? 3? No, 2, right?
2, yeah.
Good.
I'm going with Greg Toland.
Nice.
Greg Toland from Just One of the Guys.
Yeah.
You know, Zabka has so many great douchebag roles. I just like this one. Because the Karate Kid, there's fighting, there's karate involved, there's competitions, there's reason for an edge there. This guy's just a total asshole for no fucking reason.
That's my number 2
Constantly.
as well. It's my number 2 as well.
Yeah.
And Brian Casal mentioned in the group, he was like, and he has bully gloves.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, you know what? Great point. He does have bully gloves. And he
Did he have a headband in that movie too?
No, he didn't. He didn't have a headband, but like he would just. Why was he just such a douche? He was lifting the table when
there's
people were
no
eating.
backstory. There's no origin story to this douchebag. He just appears as a total dick.
Yeah.
And the thing is like even at the end, there's no redemption because he knows that Terry is a girl.
Right.
But he still picks her up above his shoulders and throws her in the fucking water. Granted, you can see the titties afterwards, and they're a nice full C cup.
So great.
But still, like he's like, "Oh, this is a girl. I'll show you. Let me just throw her. Let me just throw her like fucking like the ultimate warrior would throw someone."
Her younger brother made out though. He got that really hot girl at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. She kind of like
Sherilyn Fenn.
Sherilyn Fenn. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. She and we showed that movie in November, and once again, like you watch it, and I'm laughing like I saw it for the first time.
So well,
Buddy's
part of the reason.
Yeah.
Buddy's king of the one-liners. Yes. I mean, seriously, all quotable.
Yeah. All balls itch. But he's like sitting there, like walking. Oh, it's just so goddamn.
When the fucking mother calls, that's like the best fucking. And he just curses.
Eat me.
Yeah. Mom says hi.
So
Kavina.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's my number 2. So Greg Toland, definitely unapologetic douche. John, number 2.
My number 2. Okay, we're skipping order here. Chuck and Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Fucking good one.
Digging deep.
Yeah, dude. Like that movie. River Bottom Nightmare Band was a sick hard rock band, and like Chuck fucking didn't take shit from anybody from his fucking band.
That's the lead singer, right?
Yeah, he's the bear with the cape,
with the glasses,
and the piano. Yeah, like when he's hungry, he's hungry. He fucking he just runs shit. He is like a Darth Vader alpha. And he's just cold as fucking ice, and they still win.
Yeah,
the River Bottom Nightmare Band still fucking wins. So he's my number 2 bully.
Number 2, Parker.
Number 2, I'm gonna use who you said earlier, Viking from Bad Boys.
Really?
So now the thing about this guy, so I did fucking little research. So this is like multiple bullies. So he's a bully in that. He's a bully in Shawshank when he plays Captain Hadley.
Such a dick.
He's kind of like the deadbeat, like dickhead father, Gus Gilbert in Pet Sematary 2. And then he's also a bully in Highlander when he played the character Kurgan.
Yeah.
So this guy's like fucking bully all-star
He's
right
just
there.
born with that face.
Yeah,
like
that's
Zabka.
He does.
You're gonna be an asshole.
Yeah,
but you're
in
gonna
every
work
movie.
a lot. You know.
And now he's in
good.
Goldbergs.
Is he?
Yeah, now he's on the Goldbergs.
Is he a dick?
I think he's like he's not the gym teacher. He's something else.
Probably a dick.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's on the Goldbergs now.
Is he going to be at a Chiller
No,
tomorrow?
I wish. I fucking wish.
Who's going to be at Chiller tomorrow?
Chiller? Well, I mean, the big star is fucking Jason Priestley. That's why.
Parker's going to go spend $1,000 tomorrow for autographs.
Like $250 probably. So
you're going to go to Wawa's, and what else?
Doing Wawa first thing. Fucking Jason Priestley.
How's the parking? How's the parking at this?
Dude,
place?
I'm hoping it's $1. If Dan Tur is right behind me, if he texts that he's right behind me, I might have to wait this time because it happened last time, but I just left.
Who are you going to go see?
Colonel Sanders from Spaceballs.
Nice.
That's a big one.
Who the fuck is that?
Colonel Sanders. He's got a little bit of a lisp.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, he's got like.
He was in other
nose.
things, but who cares? Because Spaceballs like top 5 funniest for me.
Now.
2 guys from Dawn of the Dead, which I never met either of them.
Flyboy?
No, Flyboy I have met. He was a cool guy. And who else? Oh, and Edward Furlong. And so we did the poll today. Terminator 2 won. But I don't know. I think I still might have to go for Detroit Rock City.
Detroit Rock City. He wants to know what
Yeah.
he should bring to get
To have him sign. So
Detroit Rock City.
now
was
Terminator
awesome.
2
So
is
good.
Terminator 2 is like top 10 movies of me of all time. Like
Just
I
bring
love
him a
that.
copy of Pecker. He'll love that.
There you go.
That's what
I
actually put that on.
He
there.
voted for that. I've actually never seen Pecker.
It's so
It
funny.
was Pecker,
Full of grace.
Detroit Rock City,
Terminator
T2,
2.
Yeah.
and what was Brain Scan?
Brain Scan and
American History X.
American History X. And then I added Animal Factory.
Fun. That's a
That's
great
a
movie.
great
too.
Great movie.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
That was good.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Number 2, right? Well, I'm so lost.
Yeah.
You're number 2.
You're,
right.
Yeah, you're not.
It was
Oh no, you
Greg
did.
Toland.
Yeah. So you're number 1.
Oh, okay. Well, my number 1 was Buddy Revell. So
Okay.
I'm
There
just
you
going to
go.
give a shout out to the Heathers
Sweet.
from the movie Heathers. Heather Chandler, I guess, was
Yeah.
the OG one, but
Yeah.
I have to,
I want to
replace
shout
my
out
Buddy
to
Revell.
Renee Estevez. Never gets any love. She was one of the. She was in there. It's Emilio's sister. I think she's one of the Heathers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know the Heather Chandler. I think she was from I know she's from Long Island and stuff. She passed away, but and I think it was a brain tumor actually.
Holy fuck.
ironically. But it was her, Shannon Doherty, Winona Ryder, and the other one.
Yeah.
Which
Was
I
she
think
the
was,
other one?
I think she's the other one, Renee
Yeah.
Estevez. Because it's Renee, Ramon, Emilio, and Carlos.
And shout out to the 2 bully football players that got
Yeah.
shot by Christian Slater.
I love my
My
dead,
dead gay
son.
son. Funniest. Right. And they buried in the coffin. They got the football helmets and a football in the fucking coffin.
What a
Brilliant.
dark movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very great. And that's when Christian Slater was on like the height of his Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, relax with that shit, guys.
Is he done with that phase?
I think he is. I think he's in the. I'll fucking be in any movie. Like, we could probably get him on this
He's done
podcast.
some television work.
He
I
did.
think
He was
did
really good in
well.
Mr. Robot.
I was about to say he's playing a
I
fucking
haven't seen
robot.
that. I heard that show's great. Yeah. But
That show, the first. I got to catch up on it, but the first
so
season.
Heather's
You know
my
who's on there?
ultimate
Joey
number 1.
Badass.
Oh yeah.
Joey Badass is on that show.
All right. Well, that's my replacement number 1. What do you got?
My number 1 is I posted this on your page too. Jim from Edward Scissorhands, Anthony Michael Hall.
Brilliant
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, he's
What a
he's fucking
turn for
asshole.
that guy.
Yeah.
That was his first bad guy kind of role.
Yeah, he was
right?
always. Well, no, he was kind of a dick in Weird Science. He was one of the popular kids in school that was teasing fucking Wyatt, Jett.
No.
Edward
Anthony-
Scissorhands.
Oh no, no,
right?
yeah, you're right. You know what? I'm confused. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah.
He was Wyatt, right?
Yeah, no, Wyatt. He was the other one.
Chet.
Gary.
He was Gary.
Gary. Okay.
Gary.
Yeah, so it was Wyatt and
Chet's
Gary.
Told me
Yeah.
you were
Okay.
brushing your teeth.
All right, sorry about that noodle there. Yes, that was that. You're right. It was a change of
But
pace
he was
for
a
him.
douche in Edward Scissorhands.
Such
Yes.
a-
Yes.
And he looked like actually Sebastian Bach with a haircut.
Yes, yes.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yo, why have we been talking about Skid Row for so long? I feel like I don't know. I've been on a roll. I don't know why. I keep bringing up. What did I say? I said Skid Row. The first Skid Row record is better than Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I put that up on Facebook, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is going
I'm
on?"
like, yeah, he's doing it again.
Yeah, it's
You
another.
love
Sometimes I like
You
saying
love
that.
that.
I know. It's just fun because like
I love watching.
I
how
don't
everyone's
care.
upset
Yeah.
everyone else. It's like-
because everyone's like, you can't even compare the two.
of course you can't.
Why would
It's
anybody
a fucking
want to?
Skid
Like,
Row album?
But it's just
and a
so
television
stupid.
show that made like 30 years apart. It's great. I love
For a
it.
Skid Row record,
I love
and it's better than Game of Thrones. Doesn't even make sense. I'm like, well, of course it does. It's my Facebook wall. I can say whatever I want.
Listen,
All right.
no Jeff Tate, no Skid Row.
Yeah,
That's right.
You know what this guy does? So I'll look through my news feed, on Facebook, and every like metal publication that has like those stories that no one gives a shit about, like that like Vito Bratta from like White Lion has an opinion on Donald Trump or whatever. Yeah. And then I always see Brian Langan, and all he writes, no matter what the story is, no Jeff Tate, no whatever
band's in the story.
Yeah. So it's like no Jeff Tate, no White Lion.
Because that's all those fucking posts ever are. No, this guy. It's a band, and they make business decisions. Yeah. And one guy leaves, and like it's annoying, and it's always usually about Jeff Tate. What would Corey Taylor think?
I'm actually watching something on Amazon right now called Band versus Brand. And it's exactly what you're talking about right now.
Oh, shit. That sounds
good. Exactly what you're talking about.
I like that.
I think I've seen it pop up there. Yeah, I want to see it.
It's pretty ghetto looking, but it's exactly what you're talking about.
They have a lot of music documentaries on Prime that, like, there's the ones that they have no music licensing or whatever. Yes. And sometimes they can be
might be
horrific. Where you're like, we're going to talk to people that were kind of fans of this band or grew up with this guy a million years ago or whatever, but sometimes they're good though.
They have
without that,
like both Great Whites. They get into that. They get into Dio with like the hologram and shit. So
that'll be interesting.
I'll be watching that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number one.
All right, number one. Another guy, multiple fucking bullies. So this guy was in this fucking movie called Last Man Standing, which I don't know, not a lot of people like.
Bruce Willis?
No, but his name was Doyle in that. He was in a movie called Commando where he played a guy, Sully.
Yeah.
He was a dickhead.
Yeah. The Warriors.
Dreamscape was this guy, Tommy Ray, and he was Luther in the Warriors, and he ran the Rogues.
And what else?
T-Bird from The Crow.
Okay. But he was also in Ford Fairlane.
He was, but he was kind of the guy getting picked on.
I know.
In that, but
I still want to shout him out.
But Ford Fairlane is a fucking amazing movie.
That's a movie we need to cover.
That is a fucking great movie. But so the guy's name is David Kelly, and that's my number one.
Yeah, he's got
multiple douchebags, fucking bully.
Yeah, must be just something about them. Look at them, like what? I'm just gonna be a dick in every film. Yeah.
All right, my number one was already mentioned, but this guy supposedly, the word on the street was he flunked on purpose. Just so he could be a dick 2 years in a row.
There you go.
I got it. Yo, O'Banion is such a fucking dick.
Yeah.
He fucking, like, why would you, like, you're chasing around ninth graders, like, fucking Carl's mom had to, like, put the heater on him for a minute.
That's what it's about.
He rolled up
and he wasn't even that scared about it.
Nah.
He backed up, but like
it wasn't like holy shit.
I would be more scared.
Yeah, he did mention he's like, you believe fucking this guy's mom pulled a shotgun on my ass earlier today.
It's one of Affleck's finest roles.
Yes,
this first slick goes to your mother, fucker. So great.
What a dick. Cool. Nice. So this was episode number 44. Thanks to John for coming to join us and talk some shit.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks for reaching out and wanting to do the show.
Definitely, man.
So
thanks for listening.
No problem, man. Definitely a fan, and I appreciate you guys having me on, even though you guys fucking bagged on Game of Thrones. So.
I love Game of Thrones, yo. Favorite show ever.
Oh, okay, I thought you were saying you weren't into it.
I'm all about it.
Okay.
I don't watch it.
Me either.
I don't care.
But it's one of those touch points where you could totally fuck with somebody like about it.
It's the last two girlfriends that I've had have loved it, and it's just, they always say the same thing to me. They're like, it's got this, it's got violence, it's got fucking titties.
Fucking metal as fuck, man.
Hell yeah.
Battle axes.
But for me,
but so does fucking Willow.
Kind of
I'd rather watch Willow.
Zombies. It's got fucking zombies, yo, too. I mean, that wasn't enough.
Dragons
Peter Dinklage or fucking the midget from Willow.
The fucking dude from Leprechaun, man. Come on.
What's his name? Oh, Warwick Davis.
Fucking Bilbo Baggins or whatever.
But here's the thing. I just can't do that. Like, I'm very ignorant. I don't read books. I don't do anything.
I don't either.
I'm just ignorant, and there's nothing before 1920 that I want to watch. If I see a horse, if I see a sword, if I see a knight suit, like, I'm out. I don't want to see a dragon. It doesn't hold my interest.
Gotcha.
Right. Boardwalk Empire, which this guy was like John for Halloween. Remember when you were fucking?
Yeah, it was Richard. What's his name?
The guy with the
the half face, the dead eye dick, man. That guy was
he was him for fucking Halloween.
Yeah,
impeccable.
Won an award that year.
Nice.
I won an award as Edward Scissorhands this year too.
Did you?
Wow.
Yes. I don't fuck around. When I go all out, I go out. Yeah, doing that half face mask was a pain in the ass, but I got it.
It was like,
thank you.
I in my head, but that was like that's as far back as I go. I just can't relate to anything like that. It doesn't hold my interest whatsoever.
So Boardwalk Empire, that's the cutoff.
That's
1930 and above.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I can't get like that's way too much ground to cover.
You didn't like Birth of a Nation?
Oh my God.
Anything? Charlie Chaplin?
Nope. Anyway, awesome. I'm gonna go edit this later.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.